Welcome back, everybody, to Phil's Recap and Review, Game of Thrones, Season 6, Episode 1, The Red Woman, and here we are tonight to talk about this episode. I'd like to welcome everyone in the live chat. This is your first time joining us. Welcome here tonight. There's a lot of ways to get in touch with the show. You can jump in the live chat room right now with everybody else, the motherfucking chat, share your thoughts. You can also email me at igotissuesman@gmail.com. You can tweet me at igotissuesman, and we do have a call-in number as well. You can call in at 781-990-8509. Ask your questions, push the discussion, join the fun. I am not alone tonight. I have with me a very special guest. You might know him from Red Team Review. Carmine, welcome to the show, Carmine.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's great to have you, buddy. Great to hear you. This is not pre-recorded. This is actually Carmine live and in person.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And Joe Dirty Locks and Katie Crow will be with us tonight, hopefully, but Joe was having some major technical difficulties and he couldn't get his microphone to work, so he'd pop in for a second. He was just silently sitting here, so that's what took us a little bit longer to get on here tonight. But Carmine and I are going to do it, and if Joe and Katie can't get through, Joe and Katie will join me for the feedback show where we'll go over some of the questions that we don't get to tonight, and you guys can send me your questions, email or comment in this video, and we'll do that in the feedback video. But welcome to the show, Carmine. Carmine, what did you think of the episode as a whole?
I thought it was good. It's just, I don't know, it's episodes 1 of Game of Thrones usually set up the entire season, but this one wasn't as eventful as the previous ones, but that's okay. They're just catching us up on a couple of things.
Yeah, I feel like it did touch upon everything similar to what I've heard people talk about the first episode. I think Tony Teflon might have said he doesn't like first episodes because we need to get to every single location and touch upon where the season will go. I did like the feel of the episode as a whole. I feel like I agree with you, maybe not any crazy, oh my God moment. I mean, the Melisandre thing was big, but we can talk about how that was kind of spoiled the day before for some of us. But I feel like in general, it was a decent episode. I think the Dorne stuff, again, weighed it down. But if this is the last we see of Dorne for a while, it won't bother me as much.
It feels like we are going to not see Dorne as much anymore. Maybe towards the end. I mean, it does feel like now that the crab snakes are going to be taking over Dorne and that the people do not like Duran, it feels like we might catch up with them maybe towards the end of the season, and maybe an army will be marching towards King's Landing because they want that war so desperately. So, oh my God, but it still sucked cock. It really did.
It did kind of suck cock. I mean, I feel like, again, the only thing I enjoyed about it was that brief moment we could get to hear Duran talk. Like in that brief second in that speech he gave about the differences between him and the Viper and how he shouldn't have been an adventurer. I enjoyed it. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. We're getting more into learning about Duran. Maybe he's going to be the central focus of this area. And then, no, they stabbed the big tough guy that we never actually get to see fight or kick any ass, even though he's supposed to be one of the best fighters in all of the Seven Kingdoms. He gets stabbed in the back. It just doesn't even see it. He isn't even aware of what's going on. Just gets stabbed in the back, and Duran dies like a little bitch in the ground. I know you're not a Star Trek fan, Carmine, but
he's a good actor. He was in Star Trek, and I keep hearing that he's just a really good actor. I wanted to see him do some more, maybe reveal some book plotline stuff. I mean, I said it before. I thought it would have been a great twist last season if Duran was the one who sent the threat to Cersei instead of Ilaria, but no, he was just very complacent. He just didn't really care about a lot of things, and he was just a pushover. I'm glad he's dead, but I kind of wish he had more to do so we could see what he was all about.
Exactly. It just added a little bit more depth to that side story. And because I think he was the most interesting aspect of it. And I think a lot of people say that, but just so wasted in that part. And I feel bad for, I don't want to get too far down this road because I don't, oh, fuck the books, this show shit. But ultimately, if you are a Dorne fan, if Dorne is your favorite house on Game of Thrones, especially from the book, this is a very sad night for you specifically. With Preston's thing, no Dornish master plan, nothing in the show. None of that. No. It's a sad day. Just sad sound. Wah, wah, wah. To all people that were hoping for something deep in Dorne. No huge speech about I'm the grass, he's the viper. None of that sort of shit, and it's just a shame. He was also in 24, someone said in the chat. I think Viserys recruits Dorne and the Sand Snakes to ally with Dany. Interesting. I think you're right, though, about something you said early, Carmine. I feel like the Lannisters are going to go through everything that they go through at King's Landing and the Riverlands, and everything's going to think, the Lannisters are going to think that they're all right with something, and then Dorne's just going to show up, and they're going to pin this all on Jaime. Be like, Jaime killed Trystane and Jaime killed Doran, because no one knows anything about Jaime being there other than the sand shit.
Wait. I got this is wait. I'm confused about something. Okay, so first off, let's talk about Trystane for a moment here. How much of an asshole, dumb fuck do you have to be? These two people want to kill you, so your first instinct is to get between them? No, I'm sorry, but that was fucking garbage bullshit writing. Second, how did Obara and Nymeria get on the ship? In last season, we saw them waving the ship goodbye, right? Those three were there with dresses, waiting, for the ship to go. How did they sneak on?
They used a track. Speaking of Star Trek, they borrowed Duran's beamer and they beamed them from there. That's a good fucking question, and that was just one of the. Oh God, I don't want to dwell on the stupid, but it was just one of the more stupid moments. It reminds me, and I don't know if you've seen this movie, it's an older movie called Adventures of Ford Failing with Andrew Dice Clay, and at the end of the movie, Freddy Krueger challenges him, and he's got a gun on him, and he's like, I'm going to shoot you dead. Andrew Dice Clay goes, drop the gun, what do you want to fight? Let's not fight, don't shoot me, let's fight, man to man, mano-y-mano. And he gets Freddy Krueger to drop the gun, and then he just shoots him in the face, and kills him, and he goes, man to man, mano-y-mano. What kind of an idiot says that shit? And that's what Trystane really thought he was going to get a fair fight there. She wasn't just going to stab in the back. You turn your back on someone that wants to kill you. I don't want to go into Joe rant for Joe, but that was just fucking
Joe rant. Predator locks Joe. He's in there.
Yeah, Predator locks Joe. I don't want to fucking do that. And let's jump in the chat for a second. Punk says, oh my God, that's right. They probably made it to 88 knots and used 1.21 gigawatts. Biox says, Roseanne Barr got naked. Oh, later at the end. Don't do that. Oh, God. Anyone who was getting into Melisandre naked there, be like, yeah, look at how great she looks. Oh, my God. Oh, no. Oh. She goes like all the end of Titanic at the end there. Oh,
well, the whole Melisandre thing, I want to touch on this for a minute, can I?
Yeah, of course.
I want to be such a nerd right now. In season 4, episode 7, Stannis' wife comes in while she was taking a bath, if you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering, in my previous video, I was wondering, Melisandre didn't have her necklace, her choker, which we saw the little gem on it that glowed. She didn't have that while she was taking the bath. You can clearly see. Some people will say, well, maybe she had it somewhere else. Well, let's all be honest for a minute here. She probably had it nowhere else. One of my subscribers brought up a great point. The reason I think that Selyse didn't see Melisandre as an old woman because Selyse was such a strong believer in the Lord of Light religion that maybe she couldn't have seen past it. Maybe, the Lord of Light clouds everybody who is not a believer or who is a believer.
And, I mean, it's also worth examining whether... someone also, I think, said this in a comment to your video. If maybe the necklace doesn't work quite like Wonder Twin powers activate and you take it off, it might have just been associated that she's taking it off and then somehow wearing the glamour spell off. It's not just immediate, oh, it comes off, I immediately turn into an old woman. It might be a little bit more complex than that. It's more about her kind of relaxing into her gelatinous form or something in that moment. Let's take our first call of the night. Okay, here we go. Phone lines are open. Here you go. Welcome to the show, caller. How's it going?
Going on, Phil, man? It's Griffey. Don't have access to laptops, so thanks for taking my call, man. So was Trystane just like stupid for choosing the girl with the whip over a spear, or is like that just straight up bad writing again for the damn Dorne shit?
Good question. I think in that situation, I think everything. 1 second, SM. We'll get to your call in a second. I think everything in Dorne can just be wrapped up to bad writing. What do you think, Carmine?
I don't know. It's like, would you take a whip or a spear? I don't know. I mean, if you get your ass kicked by a whip, you're a pussy. But if you get taken down by a spear, I don't know. I would take the whip. I mean, I think I have a best chance against the whip. But that was fucking stupid. He got between those two. They wanted to kill him. I mean, what are you, fucking retarded? I mean, Jesus Christ. What can you say? Holy shit.
Let's take a call from our buddy SMB Down. What's going on, SMB Down? How's it going, buddy?
Well, about the whip thing and about the whole sand snakes. The sand snakes, to my knowledge, are supposed to be like some of the best fighters in the whole like story or whatever, and they haven't proven that to me whatsoever. But what I was really calling about was, hey, that necklace. Shouldn't someone just go put that on Jon and see if it magically can bring him back?
It would. At least it would. It might heal all wounds. We just saw we had another call to 803 area code. Please definitely call back. We're to keep the phone lines on and off all evening and be taking your calls. And yes, if people can see Joe in the background there, Joe is trying to get through. He's having some audio problems. Hopefully, Joe will be able to make it in at some point in the call. We have another caller. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hi.
Hi. What's going on?
Not much. First time I've ever watched the live stream, so I'm a little new at this. I just wanted to discuss that whole Sansa and Brienne scene and how kind of awesome it was that they paid homage back to Catelyn and when she took Brienne took the oath for Catelyn.
Great call and great point. I have to be honest, Carmine. I can't lie. I got a little teary-eyed during that part.
Dude, pussy.
I did. I was totally a pussy at that part. I started to lose it right when Sansa started to give her the speech, and you could see that look on Brienne's face, like, oh my God, I actually did something right. I felt so good. It made up for all of Captain Phasma.
Well, Captain Phasma. Well, let me ask you this: do you think that Sansa recreating that scene that her mother did a couple seasons back, do you think this means that Sansa will also take on the role of Lady Stoneheart? Because it seems like they're mirroring Catelyn a little bit.
I think that's more likely than us seeing Stoneheart, that she takes up a lot of that element of the storyline, at least the feel of it. I think everything that we had hoped for. God, maybe I'm just someone that's just going back for more, because I believed it last year too. I was like, oh, we're gonna get Darth Sansa. It's gonna happen. Maybe this is the year where we'll see her kind of grow in leaps and bounds, and I'm hoping for it. Welcome to the show, caller. What's going on?
Hey, just big fan of Red Team Review. Just wanted to say, you like what you do, and that like the freaking Dorne plotline is so infuriating. Like, it's so beyond infuriating what they've done to Tanae Sand and Ilaria Sand, and how they've completely changed every single thing about Dorne from the books and cut out like Quentin Martell, Arianne Martell. It's just like, it's so crazy and stupid.
Well, I mean, I would say if you're a hardcore feminist, then the Dorne plot was amazing for you this episode. But to people that have common sense and aren't douchebags, it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible.
Welcome to the show, Steve. Huge. Yeah, it was terrible, and especially simply because Doran is, again, the most interesting character in the Dorne storyline, whether it be in the books or hopefully, I guess, not in the show. I guess Okay, here's an interesting question. If people were completely unaware of anything to do with the books, would what they did with Dorne right here bother you as much? Can you say that? Is it horrible that because in the show it almost makes sense that Ilaria would do that because once Doran found out about Marcella, he would kill her. So I guess she had to do that. I don't know. I'm kind of making.
Well, yeah. From that plot sense, yes. I mean, Doran's not stupid. As soon as he found out that Marcella did die, he would blame Ilaria. So she had no choice. But at the same time, I mean, Ilaria could have intercepted that message and just done things covertly. She didn't have to kill Doran then and there. They could have spared this throughout the course of multiple episodes. Maybe had some things happening between the Lannisters and the Martells that Doran was kind of confused about, because you could tell that his guards really, didn't like him that much. You could tell his people don't like him that much. So they could have stretched it out. I just see this as the showrunners trying to quickly mop up the big mistake they did last season.
That was my favorite aspect of the Dorne thing tonight, was when you got to see all of the Dorne soldiers all around looking at him as he was falling down and giving him the kind of evil eyes to back up the belief that none of your people believe in you. And I feel that was probably the most development that they've done in all of Dorne through the entire series, just to show you what the people kind of thought without making it a comedic or a kind of a side thing. I saw that Sam called a second ago. Sam, definitely give a call back. Everybody, sorry if the chat's going crazy. It's kind of hard to keep up with everything, but so excited to have all of you guys in the live chat. Timo says, agreed. Everyone got what they wanted. Dorne is gone. Brian is the icon for feminism, not the sand snake. Brienne is, Mel saw Jon in the flames. He's coming back. And if they don't answer, you can leave a voicemail like Sam did. Oh, yes. Oh, here we go. Here's SM Down again. What's going on, buddy? Welcome back to the show.
I had a couple things. One, I don't give Sansa enough credit to take over Lady Stoneheart's role. 2, don't actually want to see Lady Stoneheart at this point because all the stuff that I read about her in the, like, because I didn't read the books, but I read, like, the, like, basically the Cliff Notes, all the important stuff she has done, we're past that point already. So I don't need them to bring that around just to make a couple book readers happy to bring her back. And 2 and 3, if anyone were going to take over that role, I'd give it to Arya at this point. She's more of a killer than her Sansa will ever be.
Interesting. Good call, my friend. What do you think of some of that, Carmine?
Well, in the books, Lady Stoneheart really doesn't kill anyone. She just leads the Brotherhood Without Banners, and they do all the killing. So Arya may be a stone-cold killer, but Sansa, I think, is in more of a position to order people around to do the killing. So that's why I think they would give her the Stoneheart thing. But at the same time, I think Sansa is the best suited to take it besides Arya, because Sansa is just from the beginning, she was just an innocent person. In a way, she was up until season 5, and it's just she's been fucked over so many times. But all these psychopaths, I think it would be, in my opinion, satisfying to see her just go, you know what, fuck this, and just start stomping over flowers and puppy dogs. Just give her the Stoneheart role. See what she can do with it.
Interesting. And welcome to the show, KLC. And everybody, if you're not getting in, please keep calling. I'll get your phone calls in as quickly as I can. It's I try to if I cancel your call real quickly and pop you the voicemail, it's just because I don't want to hear that ding 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 ding. Welcome, KLC.
All right, man. This is crazy. This is my first time being in a Game of Thrones chat with you guys, so just hi to all you guys. But a couple things. First, to build off what Carmine just said, if we don't get some payoff for, like, Sansa just being abused so much, then I feel like everything she's gone through would kind of been a waste, because, like, remember back when, oh, Jesus, what just happened? When,
the Boltons, the Joffrey, when someone was fucking with her, when Reek let her go when she killed, I'm sorry, I'm just throwing down a bunch of Sansa stuff.
No. It was at the end of one of the seasons, and she, like, put on the black dress, and everyone thought that she was going to do some cool stuff, and then we got no payoff of that. I feel like that's just going to, if we don't get any payoff of that, it's just going to be that again, and I feel like all of Sansa's stories will have been a waste. And am I the only one who's kind of really pissed off that all Dany's ships got burned? I mean, it sounds like we only got, 20-something episodes left, and I mean, how are they going to get her and her army to Westeros now with such limited time?
Good points. I'm just gonna move over to the next call, but great stuff as always, KLC. I was kind of upset about that too, in the sense of but she's getting back one way or another, and maybe on the backs of dragons. But how is she getting an army is a good question. But maybe some Greyjoy ships or something. I don't know. Maybe. Welcome to the show, caller. What's going on?
Yeah, I gotta say, honestly, they totally messed up the whole Dorne storyline. I mean, I was totally sold on the whole idea that there's going to be there's going to be a whole Dorne master plan.
It's okay. You can say. I love how you pause. No, it's okay. You can say it. Yeah, I think I kind of did too. I listened to I fell into it too. He's a convincing person. I believed it.
I've actually never seen that Preston video. I've seen the other ones. I've just never seen that one.
Oh my goodness. But yes, I agree. They kind of screwed the pooch just in general on the whole Dorne story, and I feel bad for anyone that fell into that loved Dorne, because I know a lot of people that everyone has their different favorite houses, and I feel bad for anyone that Dorne was their favorite house, and I feel bad for anyone that subscribed to that belief.
Well, House Martell is actually a pretty cool house. I mean, they don't have a lot of people. This is why I'm confused about what Ilaria wants to do. The House Martell army is just very small. I mean, that's what they did, like back when, the Targaryens conquered everything. They were able to hold out because their army is just small, everybody's scattered. I have no idea how they're going to pull off a war against the Lannisters, who can bring in mercenaries to fight for them. It's just, I don't know, it's interesting, but to anybody saying, you're surprised Dorne sucked, as soon as you saw them in the fucking trailer, as soon as you saw them, you had to just go, oh, Jesus Christ, because you absolutely knew what was going to happen, and there you go.
Welcome to the show, Heath Hinton. How's it going, buddy?
What's up, Bill? How you doing? What's up, Carmine? Anyway, just want to ask you a question. Seems like this first episode was a little, I don't want to say shallow, but I'm going to say shallow in some parts. Do you think not having the backing of the story arc from George R. Martin, do you think that is going to affect this series going forward? Because personally, I think this is the worst first episode of any season they've done. Do you see this being a problem going forward? And I'll get off. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you. What do you think about that, Carmine? Personally, I'm excited just from a television standpoint to kind of see them push through. I don't mean to seem like I didn't like this episode. I think I enjoyed it. Everything but the Dorne episode I really loved. I really loved the Castle Black stuff. We've gone this far and kind of not talked about the other stuff. I like Davos in that position. I thought that was really cool. I love Davos in this episode. And I actually like the Dany and the Dothraki stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like they've done everything on this show relatively awesome except for Dorne, and the
Greyjoys, they barely gave them any mention.
Yeah, they gave the Greyjoy shit. Sam, please call in. I will take. Yeah, Sam's the next caller I'm taking. I just took Sam's call. She's tried to call in a bunch of times. I want to make sure I get her through. So yeah, the Greyjoys, I also feel like they've.
Well, but what he said. Whenever I know a lot of the show watchers who've never read the books, you guys give the book readers a bunch of shit because they know everything. But we know something. We know good storytelling, and Martin knows how to deliver on that. A lot of the times, though, when the show tries to do their own thing, it does not work out well. Dorne is proof of that. But there is one thing the show has done that has outclassed the book, and I'm sure everybody will agree. Hardhome. In the books, Jon never goes to Hardhome. In the show, he did, and that was fucking epic.
Hardhome. Another example, Arya and Tywin being put together, I think was.
Oh, that was also fucking great.
That was awesome. There's a couple of other examples where they streamlined stuff. As much as I do love the books, there's obviously we don't go on for hours and hours about food on the show. There's certain things that the medium of television works with on the show, and that I really enjoy that they do, and some of the decisions that they've made along the way. Welcome, Sam.
Hi, you guys. How are you?
Doing good. It's nice to hear you. How you doing tonight? What'd you think of the episode?
I honestly enjoyed it, and while I enjoyed talking that going to God on End, I want to move on to a different scene that actually made me cry along with Brienne and Sons a little bit. It was the Ramsay when he was mourning over Miranda.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that he has actual human emotions. At first, I was taken back a little bit, but
oh
then
yeah,
I was like,
actual human emotions. Let's feed her to the dogs. Yeah, those kind of emotions.
Hey, in his defense, it is good meat. You can't waste that shit, especially when winter's coming. It's just I gotta defend him there.
I wanted to say hi to you guys and talk to you later.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam, for calling in. Yeah, I know. That was Ramsay at his best right there. I loved seeing that. That's what the actor brings to this role. He has an ability to kind of, in other things he's done, he's always played such a slimy, nice guy, or I've seen him in other things, whether it's Vicious is the show I've most seen him in, where he plays a very kind of charismatic kind of guy. So it's interesting to see the Ramsay shift when he turns the hat around and becomes evil Ramsay there. And great episode. And I also love seeing him get emasculated by Roose. I think him and Roose have an interesting balance, and I liked Roose in this episode. He created more of menace to me than he has in past episodes.
He created more of an issue for Ramsay.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was interesting that the show put you, or at least for me, in that scene, I felt like I was put in Ramsay's shoes and felt on the attack by Roose like that, and felt exactly. I feel like the show did an excellent job of making me feel like Ramsay in that, making me feel weird in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Did you see his face when Roose is like, "Well, we have to hope my wife produces a male heir," and his fucking face is like, "Oh shit."
I need the stabby. Welcome to the show, caller. What's going on?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. So what kind of concerns me the most about this is that they're talking about having only 13 or so episodes left, but they're wasting 5 minutes on showing Melisandre take off the collar, get naked, stare at the mirror, then you see a shot of her in the mirror, then you see her looking at the mirror. It's like if you don't have much time to set up the rest of the story well, then why are you wasting all this time on these scenes that could only be cut down to 30 seconds?
Oh, caller, you're naive. Wait till we get to Sam and Gilly. Jesus fucking Christ! Wait till we get to that.
Don't say that. Head's gonna explode, Carmine.
Oh my God! Wait till we get to Sam and Gilly, where they wander into a dark alley, and then Sam gets his ass kicked, and Ghost comes out of nowhere and saves him, and Gilly has to pity fuck him again. Wait till we get to that shit.
It's gonna be okay, Carmine. We're not gonna get too much Sam and Gilly this year. It's not gonna happen. Welcome.
Oh, you'll see.
Welcome to the show, caller. How's it going?
what's going on? Just wanted to ask a couple more questions before I called it good for the evening. Just wanted to ask you guys how you feel the plot and King's Landing in America continue, since we know, like, I don't know if you guys felt it, but I kind of felt like Jamie might be not so much sent to the Riverlands as he would to be to the north.
Unfortunately, Carl, your phone was kind of breaking up a little bit. I only got part of what you said. I heard. Did you get what he was saying, Carmine?
No.
Okay, I heard something Jamie Riverlands. I'll jump on this point. I also, even though I kind of seen half of the scene, I like the Jamie and Cersei scene. I like how Jamie was being very naive in that scene, and Cersei's just kind of, nope, we're all fucked. We're all fucked, and nothing he would say kind of made him feel any better.
I'm surprised she mentioned the witch's prophecy. I'm really surprised she mentioned that. I honestly thought that they were going to keep that under wraps, but well, I'm glad they did though.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed that scene between the two of them, and the Lannister stuff is some of the things I'm most looking forward to seeing played out this season. Everything with Cersei and Jamie in the Riverlands and Cersei and the Franken Mountain stuff. What's going on, caller? Welcome.
Hey, this is Corey. I'm back.
What was that?
This is Corey.
Oh, hey,
What's
Corey.
going on?
Welcome back, buddy.
Hey, you know what I'm going to miss out with Tristan being killed?
What's that?
All those great small council meetings with him, Kevin Lannister, Pyzel, and I guess the Zombie Mountain, maybe?
That would be funny. That would be funny. He's sitting there.
Get back.
He's sitting there painting the eggs and stuff while Kevin Lannister's like, "What the fuck are you doing over there?" "I'm making the world prettier, one day at a time." Oh my goodness. So that is basically our initial thoughts of the episode. Here we go. Let's take one more call before we get into a recap here. What's up, SM?
I'm surprised that Cersei wasn't like, "Oh, you let my daughter die. This is all your fault," and just blaming Jamie for everything. Because that's exactly what I expected to happen if Jamie came back with her like dead body or whatever. I was surprised she was like, "Oh, this is on me. I was just cursed or whatever." I'm surprised she wasn't like, "This is on you. I blame you for everything," or something like that. So I was surprised about that.
Yeah, I was too, and I think if you turn back to last year, once he died in the finale, I said, "Oh, Cersei's gonna be pissed at Jamie when she hears," but she's numb to the pain that she's felt.
Mm-hmm.
She can't take anymore, and she knows it's not Jamie's fault; it's her fault.
Well, the one thing about Cersei that I was a little confused about this time around is that she didn't go into the prophecy a bit more, because she was talking to him about, you know, the shrouds and the 3 kids dying, but she didn't say the last part of the prophecy, which is the Valonqar, which is High Valyrian for little brother or brother, will choke the life out of her. Cersei and Jamie are twins, but she was born first, technically making Jamie her little brother. However, she in her mind thinks Tyrion will kill her. I don't know. I kind of wish they would include that in there.
Do you subscribe to some of the beliefs that it could be any little brother, or do you think it's going to be either Jamie or Tyrion that chokes her out?
I think it's more Shakespearean than for it to be Jamie or Tyrion. Jamie mostly. I mean, I think it's more, to me, more like tragic for it to be Jamie. Some people think it's going to be the Hound. Some people think Arya is going to kill Tommen and wear his face and do it. I want it to be Jamie. It's more tragic. It's more Romeo and Juliet-ish kind of for it to be Jamie.
Plus, being a Jamie myself, and I think you are as well, being a Jamie fan, he deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
He deserves to choke her out, because she really did in a lot of ways, from forcing him to go into Kingsguard, something he might not have done initially, at making him the king. It's all her fault. It's all her vagina did this all to him. So we got a call. Welcome to the show, caller. How's it going?
Hey Phil, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Pretty good. So I just wanted to touch on something about Dorne. It makes no sense that Hoda got stabbed in the back once, and he just fell. He's supposed to be one of the greatest fighters, and he just fell with one stab to the back.
One little poke, yeah. It was really fast acting poison. That's what it was. Really fast.
Well, if she stabbed him in the neck, okay, you got something there. But he's a big, muscly dude. Like, and plus, I think he has like some kind of armor with him. Like, what the fuck was that? What the fuck? I agree with that caller. But it's Dorne. You expect nothing but garbage and bullshit from that. So
yeah, good, very good point, caller. Thank you so much.
All right, have a good night, guys.
You too. Great call right there. We got a couple of voicemails that we'll get to at some point in the evening. Really great night. Huge thanks to everyone that's joining us. We got 485 or 80 or so people joining us we started off around 200. So huge thanks to everyone that's joined us tonight for this Game of Thrones recap. I can jump in the chat, but the chat is going insane. Mark Price grabbed my strong and he flopped like he played for the Lakers or something. Holy shit. 491. Let's move past Dorne, please. It's tough. It's tough because I think that was what this episode was about, and we will move past it. But ultimately, I think this episode needed to happen, and what we needed to clear the decks. I would rather this have happened than dwell in there for the whole season again. If they're going to skip ahead and now we're going to get to other stuff, just make way for Bran, make way for Greyjoy stuff, then I'm fine with it. Let it happen. It was a big shit show anyway. Don't try to get all complex with a master plan with these dimwits going down there. Just move on. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. So let's get into our episode recap, and we will still be taking calls periodically through the night. Carmine will be joining us for a while here until he goes, I'm done listening to this shit. But huge thanks to Carmine for joining us today. He may join us a few other times throughout the season as well, if this wasn't too horrible of a time for him. But he's joining us right now, and let's get into this recap. So the episode opens up, we hear the wind blowing, and we get to the dark night, we hear the wolf howling. Really emotional hearing that wolf howl the whole time. The castle black with more howls. I wish we heard a howl at the end of last season. But anyways, we see Jon Snow dead on the ground as the wolf's in the back. More howls, all falls down. Jon like bleeping out. Joe, I can hear you. I can hear you tapping on your mic. Stop tapping. But awesome. Joe is in the live discussion right now. Perfect timing. We see Jon bleed out. He's heading out, bang, bang, bang. Ghost is trying to break out, and Davos comes out and spots dead Jon Snow in the snow. And she runs to him, and he goes, coming over, and we get a bunch of the Night's Watch guys, all the guys that weren't traitors, including Ed, someone that was often a big speculation in the offseason of where was Ed.
We actually had more non-traitors. If you saw the scene with Alistair Thorne we had more people who didn't like that he stabbed them, but Thorne was able to convert them a little.
Yep. Yeah, and I really like that Ed was there, and Ed was a big part of this episode. This was probably one of the best Ed things, and I like that he's the one to go off to get. If anyone doesn't know where he went, he went off to go get the wildlings. They're going to come back right as shit goes down in episode 2 or 3, whenever it is. It looks like it's probably going to be 2. When at the end of episode 2, Thorne's probably going to break through the door, and right when they're fighting and everything, the wildling army is going to show up, and one's going to be pounding some fuckers and killing Thorne and maybe eating Ollie. At least we can hope. So they look at Jon, they get Jon into his body, they examine him, and Melisandre shows up in the room, and she says she saw Jon fighting in the flames in Winterfell. Davos says, I don't know what the fuck you saw in your flames. I'm no big city flame watcher, but I know one thing's for sure, that man's dead. And all the men are sad, and then we cut over, as Carmine was saying, to a scene with the Night's Watch guys all bitching and moaning, and Thorne's running the meeting saying, Jon Snow's dead, and you have to deal with it. He names all the people that killed him, all the other names, they yell. All of them gave your life last night. Jon Snow was my Lord Commander. I had no love for him. That was the secret that I never disobeyed an order. Loyalty is the foundation of which the Night's Watch was built. So Thorne starts trying to convince everyone that he's doing the right thing, that he did the right thing. And it seems like, do you think he converted these people?
Some
people, Joe says. Do you think some of these people are going to turn on him when the fight goes? Some of
these people already hate his guts. Some of these people want him dead already.
And there's kind of an implied order not to kill your Lord Commander.
No, you kill a member of the... As a Night's Watch, you kill a Night's Watch, you get killed, don't you?
You should.
Well, I guess the exception here could be that if your Lord Commander basically goes back on his vows that he took along with everybody else, I guess you can kill him. I guess that's it.
Do the vows say no wildlings allowed beyond the wall?
Well, they've been fighting them for 1,000 years, so it's kind of like implied.
No, it's not implied. I have the vows right there. There's nothing there about no wildlings beyond the wall.
I guess that's a loophole. Holy shit.
In fact, it says that guards the realm of men.
So
I don't know, Joe. Everybody really hates the wildling, so I assume it's implied. But you got me there with the tablet.
And ultimately, I think both you guys are right. It's it's not in the paper document or the plaque document that Joe has there. It's lawyered right there, plaqued. But ultimately, it is understood though that historically that they've been fighting these things. Q-tips aren't called Q-tips; they're called cotton swabs. They've been called Q-tips so long that everyone calls those things Q-tips no matter
that's
what.
A brand, not a
It's
product.
a brand, not a thing. People have been fighting the wildlings. The wildlings have been the enemy so much, and the White Walkers have been disappeared for so long. They don't know who the real enemy is.
Yet nobody's blown that horn 3 times. So how many thousands of years?
Yep. So ultimately, Thorne is doing the wrong thing here, but he's making a good case to the rest of them that Jon Snow did fuck up. So enough of them know. Enough of them are kind of piling on in this situation, whether agree or not. Thorne's a dickhead. So we cut off to Ghost snuggling up to Jon Snow, and he goes and lays down.
Oh,
it was so cute.
heart's breaking.
Yes, it was so cute. And then Dolores Ed comes there, and Thorne would have made it official by now. Castle Black is his. I don't care who's sitting at the high table. Jon was my friend, and those fuckers butchered him. Now we got to return the favor. We don't have the numbers.
Yeah.
We do have a direwolf. It's not enough. I didn't know Lord Commander for long, but I wouldn't believe he would have wanted his friends to die for nothing. If you were planning to see tomorrow, you picked the wrong room, Ed says. We'll take our best. We'll at least take Thorne down. We need to fight. Fight. So that's enough of that scene right there.
Show.
It was pumped up. I like seeing the interaction between Davos and Ed. I think that's one of those interesting interactions you wouldn't normally see. I think both of their wits go well with each other. So I'm curious to see more of the interaction between those two characters, maybe going around gathering northern armies together, possibly after the fact. How long? And here's a general question. How long do you think they're going to put this Jon Snow thing off for? What episode does he come back? And this is a question I'll go to Joe and Katie first, and then over to Carmine. When do you
First episode?
It didn't happen.
Fuck.
Second or third?
Second or third, Katie?
I'm gonna go second episode.
Too much.
Next episode, Jon Snow walks. He's alive, standing around.
I don't know. Did Mel just kill herself?
No.
No.
I think she just went to bed. She sleeps as an old woman. She takes her shit off.
It was her glamour magic, or her glamour spell. Carmine, when do you think they're gonna finally do the Jon Snow thing? How long do you think we're gonna have to wait for this shit?
Judging by the previous Throne seasons, most likely 4 or 5 he'll come back, and then 6 or 7 is when Davos starts to try to rally men, and the dreaded episode 9 will probably be the war. However, next episode, I do think next episode will end with the wildlings coming through, because in the trailer we did see one breaking through the doors at Castle Black, so we know they bring him in.
That's an interesting point that you brought on, a kind of a secondary question I wanted to ask, and I'll go to you first, Carmine, on this. Is that going to be the big White Walker thing that we get this season? Will be the White Walkers showing up at the wall? Is there any other place for the White Walkers to attack but the wall? The next time we see them, they're attacking the wall?
The next time we see them will probably be in Bran's vision, because remember in the trailer we saw them grabbing Bran's arm?
Good point. Very good point. And then by the end of the season, the next attack in the real world. In the real world.
We've been seeing interviews with the cast members saying that everything is leading up towards the end, and even the douchebag showrunners have said that they only have like 13 episodes of material. So I assume by this season finale, we'll probably have the White Walkers doing something with the wall, because we know there's going to be a lot of CGI involved this season. So they might be either scaling the wall, probably not, or taking it down. My bet's on taking it down.
Hugh Chronic also adds White Walkers go after the tree. Hope says, I wish Phil, Carmine, etc. noticed the blood or the shape. Mark says, she's as old as fuck. Chad and NC says, Joe, see what happens when you ask for titties? You see what happens, Joe, when you ask for Mel titties? The previous show, Joe
listen. Big titties, small titties, round titties, square titties, saggy titties, tennis balls and a sock titties, flapjack titties, scrambled egg titties. It doesn't matter. The only bad titty is the one that's not right here. You understand?
I can't argue with him.
Joe, yeah. As usual, Joe, your logic is flawless, which makes it impossible to argue. Let's take our first call with Joe here. What's going on, caller? You're on the show, caller. What's going on?
Okay, so basically, with the first episode, I was fairly impressed with it. One thing that I was really disappointed about was the Jon Snow thing. I honestly was really expecting them to bring him back, either towards the end of the first episode, Or maybe they could bring it back at the beginning of the second, but I just really wanted them to get that like out of the way.
Yeah.
You guys think they're going to drag that out, the whole thing with Jon being dead? And
Ugh, I really hope not. I really hope not.
I was joking about this earlier on somewhere, but
They're gonna blend this thing.
They're going to do the Weekend at Bernie's thing where
Look,
they.
we already had a year. We had a year, right? We had a year of them glenning this shit out, right? So
Hey.
come on.
Don't you, Joe? You're not allowed to talk about that show here right now. Fuck
Joe, what's the matter with you? Don't you realize Jon Snow's not dead? He's just hiding under the dumpster. Come on, man.
I know nothing.
You know nothing.
Welcome back to the show, caller. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
How's it going, buddy? What's up?
Hey, I was just wondering if you guys you guys also got boners from those on your sweet bod there at the end. I don't know about you guys. I came about 6 times.
Mm-hmm.
Over my popcorn. My mom got pissed at me.
Dude, your mom got pissed off? What are you doing? Your mom's right there. Oh, great call, caller.
Dude, I want to know if you can have a threesome with both the young and the old Mel.
Ooh, very interesting.
That's what I'm talking about.
I think we have
I bet she could do that.
I think we have an international call going here, so let's make sure we take this call right away. Welcome to the show, caller. How's it going?
Hello.
Hey, what's going on, caller?
Hello, I'm James from the UK.
Oh, welcome, buddy.
Oh, nice to meet you.
So this is one thing I don't think you guys have touched upon yet. Is what do you guys think about Theon finally becoming a man again?
Love it.
Yeah, let's go. I'm loving that. Let's go over to Carmine. What do you think of the Theon stuff this episode?
I'm glad he's finally going to be doing something this season, because I will admit, Theon has gotten a little boring just being tortured and being a little douche and being a little bitch.
Yeah.
I'm glad he got to finally kill someone. I think, is this one of the first few times? No. I think this is the first time since season 2 that he's actually killed someone.
Miranda.
No, he threw the girl over the edge.
That's right.
It reminded me a lot of the scene when he saves Rob, when Rob's saving Bran from the wildlings in season 1, and it's similar. Theon shoots him with an arrow, but from behind. And I was just thinking how non-smug, remember how smug Theon was in season 1 when he said, "I saved your ass, Rob." In this situation, he was just ran up to Sansa, was so happy, or actually Pod he saved in that moment.
But Theon's not out of the woods yet, though, because the North knows with Theon. The North thinks that he killed Bran and Rickon. So if Sansa does find refuge with one of the other northern houses, they probably won't be kind to him.
Yeah, I hope.
I think Sansa can protect him.
Yeah, she'll take up for him.
Yeah, Queen
She's
in the
out
North
in the
kind of
North
shit.
now.
Do you think Theon ends up back with Greyjoy by the end of the season, or he has his own arc individually?
I think he is now Sansa's constant companion.
Sansa's dog. Sansa. Do you think we're gonna get a Yara? Oh, do you think we're gonna a Yara Theon reunion this season, Carmine?
Probably not. In the trailer we saw Yara with one of those prostitutes that has the tear on her thing. So I assume Euron's going to come in, take Yara and the Iron Fleet, and head over to Volantis and then to Marine. I don't think we'll probably see Yara and Theon again for a while.
Good point. And I tend to agree with you, Carmine, as well. Brooks Bradshaw, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, love you guys. Love your content. I don't think we mentioned it yet. Maybe I'll mention it while I was trying to call, but how badass was Podrick in this episode?
Yeah.
So badass.
It was good to see. It was good to see Pod doing some shit. And yes, I'm sorry for calling it Yara. I mean,
I actually cried at the end of that scene.
Yes. And welcome to the show, caller. What's going on? Welcome to. Oh wait, they're listening. I like to do that radio show thing. Turn off your radio. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to disconnect with you, caller. We'll take your call again if you call back. Okay, so our next scene that we get into is the Ramsay sitting over Miranda's dead body, and I want to read through this.
Touching scene.
Really so touching. She was 11 the first time I saw her, Katie. The kennel master's daughter. She smelled of a dog, like a dog was riding her. I wasn't much older, but everyone was already afraid of me. Miranda wasn't, though. What could I have done that those hounds couldn't have done to her? She was fearless. There was nothing she wouldn't do. Your pain will be paid over 1,000 times. I wish you could be here to watch. And then the guy says to him, should I dig a grave for her, my lord, or would you rather me burn her or fire to burn her in?
Feed her to the dogs. Who gives a shit? She's dead.
Good meat. And Carmine was saying this earlier. Obviously, yeah, it could be played off of as, there's Theon being sick-ass Theon, but Theon's just being a pragmatist there. As Carmine mentioned earlier, winter's coming at a tough supply. He's just caring about the dogs.
Miranda was Ramsay's Harley Quinn to his Joker. So, I mean, if Harley Quinn died in front of the Joker, that's pretty much the reaction I would expect from the Joker. So, yeah, that's pretty Ramsay. I kind of expected this.
Yeah.
Yeah, a sociopath never actually loves anyone in the traditional sense.
He's crying for what he lost to himself.
She was his favorite toy.
Yeah.
Broken.
Right. That's what he's crying about. He's not crying that she's actually missing out or anything. He's feeling the loss because he's sad that he doesn't have his toy anymore, his girl anymore. It's not about her not being around, even though he said it.
And Katie, to do the parallel there, to go from what you could say Ramsay's favorite toy to go to Roos's favorite toy, which is Ramsay in this situation. And we get to this Roose and Ramsay scene. But let's take a quick call before we get into that scene. Welcome to the show, caller. What's going on?
Hey, guys.
Welcome.
How y'all doing? I had a question about, because I've become a fan of the popular theory about Ramsay killing Roose this season, and I think his kind of look at Roose when Roose starts talking about Fat Walda having a new kid kind of is going to push him over the edge with his constant failures. I mean, obviously his men failed to kill or capture Sansa and Reek. And I feel like Roose is going to start saying stuff that's going to push him over the edge, because we see Ramsay leading the battle, or at least what appears to be the battle between the Northern Rebels and the Boltons.
Someone says, Bolton Bowl, get hyped! Let's go to Joe and Katie on that one. What do you guys think about that, Joe and Katie?
I do think that one of them is going to kill the other. I tend more towards the yes, Ramsay's going to kill Daddy.
Yeah.
And Daddy's wife. And if she's pregnant, he will cut the child out of her belly and dance with it. Yeah.
And that's just it. He's no longer a Snow, because he had to legitimize him so he could marry the Stark girl.
Yeah, he's officially a Bolton.
Right. So he kills both Daddy and Walda before that baby's born, and the keys to the castle and the kingdom are his.
Yep.
As long as he can get Sansa back.
Yep. Do you agree with that, Carmine? Do you think Ramsay will try to kill Roose by the end of the season?
I don't know. It's just Roose just seems like a very serious guy who has a lot of things locked down. In the books, even Ramsay's men are loyal to Roose first. And as we've seen, his men are also fiercely loyal to Roose as well. And I don't know if Ramsay can pull it off, but if he does, I'd be fucking shocked. That would really surprise me if Ramsay does kill Roose.
That would be a big moment. I tend to think that I guess if I'm really coming from my point of view, I think that Roose outlives Ramsay, just because I think Ramsay dies in a big battle this year, and I think Roose will continue to live on a little bit longer than that. I feel like Roose is more menacing and more evil than Ramsay when it really comes down to it. We just haven't got into it. So I think the eviler person will survive and Roose will survive. But I wouldn't be surprised. It would be very interesting to see the show go there. Welcome, caller. Sorry to keep you on hold. What's going on?
Hello.
Hey, what's up? You're on the air. Welcome.
Hey guys! I'm so happy Game of Thrones is back on. I just wanted to get your thoughts on Thorne and Ollie. When they were having that, I don't think you guys talked about it. When they were having that meeting, Ollie's face is like, oh God, you want to tear that kid apart?
Yep.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, it's awful.
He's got a tasty looking face.
I don't know what you guys think, what will happen, how they'll get it in, but those two have to die immediately. They were ridiculous.
Painfully. Yep.
Okay, let's get into this. What would be, and we'll go around in a circle here. I think we can all agree. If there's one thing all Game of Thrones fans, or generally I think all Game of Thrones fans can agree on, is we all want to see Ollie die a horrible, miserable death. Now, we'll start with Carmine. Carmine, what would be your ideal way? Or I'll say mine. I want him to get eaten by Ghost. That would be my ideal way of Ollie passing away. How about you, Carmine? Do you have a preferred way of Ollie dying?
I feel so bad for this kid. There's an entire subreddit devoted to fucking hating. Yeah. Oh my god. I think someone has a website too. Please link me that website. I think the best way for Ollie to go is last season we saw him have a conversation with Sam about the White Walkers and the Dead coming. I think the best way for Ollie to go would be to be killed by a White Walker in the season finale. I think they might spare him when the Wildlings come, and I really want to see Alistair get killed by Tormund.
Ooh, I would definitely like to see Alistair get killed by Tormund. Katie, and then we'll go over to Joe. Katie, do you have a preferred way?
What I like either the wolf Munchin or Jon Snow comes back to life and strangles him.
Strangles him. I like where your mind's at, Katie. Joe?
Both very personal ways to kill someone, I'm sure.
That's how it should be done.
Yeah, I think it would be best if in the heat of battle and all this shit, 1-1 goes running through and just like pancake.
Joe, before the live chat goes wide, Mark Price says 1-1 rapes Ollie, like Phil said.
I just want him to like step on him, like just.
No rape.
Like I think that would be hilarious if like 1-1 just stepped on him, just running through the battle.
I was just reading the comment. I was just expressing what the caller said. Assassin says his stupid face needs to be eaten. Craft Mom, I think Joe will kill him. I'm sorry, the chat's moving by quick. He did not invite that motherfucker to dinner. Ollie sees a wildling about to kill Jon. He shoots her as he's supposed to. Oh, talking about that. LaDonna, welcome. Ren, I think Mel is burning low. It becomes the blue Melisandre that George R.R. Martin commissioned. If so, who does Davos kill? I think Davos just kills a lot of random Night's Watch. I agree that I think it would be most satisfying to see Tormund kill Alistair Thorne. I think that would be a really
well, they had a rivalry. That was one of the scenes cut from season 5. They do have a rivalry going on, so.
Will Sansa meet the Hound this season? Someone asks in the chat. I think we will see the Hound this season. I'm not sure if Sansa will meet him. I definitely think I think we'll see. I'm sorry, Sandor Clegane. Sorry, Katie. I think we're gonna see the Sandor Clegane. And everybody, I just want to say a huge thank you again. We're at like 582 people watching live right now. Huge thanks. If you're enjoying what you're watching, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Huge thanks to everyone that's joining us live. I think there's a lot of excitement in the beginning of Game of Thrones season, so we're really excited to have all of you with us tonight. Really appreciate all of you guys jumping in the live chat. A couple people say I do miss Joffrey. Tormund will definitely kill Thorne. Says Lazy Bazooka, great name. The Daily Walker, damn Sam, he's a twat. Fucking twat. Let's go right back into the recap, and we'll get back to the calls in a little bit. So then we get into this whole Ramsay and Roose scene, which is very interesting. At first, Roose does the whole, your work's really good. You did a really good job, but you fucked up here. And then he does like the compliment sandwich with him. And
because you play with your toys too much.
The heartbreak game.
Yep. And as a couple people mentioned, Ramsay just looks dumbfounded. And I think I think one of the callers said this. He gives a look on his face that leads me to think he's at least going to try to
Ramsay just told them to kill my wife. Please kill my wife and unborn son. Yeah, Roose told Ramsay to do it.
That's two different things. I think you're absolutely right that, and I think Carmine said this too, I think there is no question that Ramsay is going to, and you guys can correct me if anyone doesn't think this. I think it's obvious that Ramsay's going to try to kill Fat Wall. Right?
Well, I think Roose is trying to goad him into doing it, or maybe trying to
that's a good point.
Trying to see if he will, because in the books, Roose had a son before Ramsay, Domeric. And then Ramsay found out about Domeric and killed him, and that kind of forced Roose to adopt Ramsay as his heir.
Ah. Yeah. Very good information. So we go off to the shot of one of the leaked scenes of Reek and Sansa running along the snow. Great scope. This is one of my favorite single shots Game of Thrones ever done with them. I liked it when they showed me the preview of it. I liked the great mountain landscape, seeing all the snow coming down. It was just really cool. I really enjoyed that particular scene. And we got let's take a quick call quickly from our buddy SM Down so everyone can take a drink. What's going on, buddy?
I got the perfect way for Ollie to die. You guys are too nice about this.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
To glamour him so that he has to relive his, parents and all his family dying,
So you want to go all...
And then I want someone to, stab him with, 1,000 stabs so that he slowly bleeds out to death while seeing all his horrifying image of his family dying. that's the way he should go out because he's a little bitch.
Wow.
Excuse me, sir. I think you should write for the show because that was fucking great.
Yeah, I think Dan and Dave, we have a new writer in the chat right now. Pick him up. Come on. We gotta call HBO like we called AMC during the Walking Dead finale. Let's take a couple more calls before we continue. What's going on, buddy? How's it going? Welcome to the call.
Hi, this is Carson.
Welcome, Carson. Welcome to the chat. Well, not the chat.
I just had a question.
Please, sure.
Yeah, I was wondering if why they don't just go after Rickon. I mean, they know that he's still alive, and take him hostage instead of looking for him. Because Rickon has a better claim to Winterfell.
I think you're treading on a good point there. That I think maybe if once now we know that Sansa got away and they can't find her, that probably would be that, and going to Castle Black because she probably went to Castle Black. We saw that in the preview for next week. But you have to assume that at some point Ramsay might try to go find it because he knows that Rickon is still alive. But he doesn't know. He has no clue where he is though. So, I mean, it would be difficult to try to find him.
That's a big place.
Do you think we're going to see that unnamed Stark kid this season? Katie, what do you think, Katie? Joe, do you guys think that we're going to see Rickon this season?
Who's Rickon?
He's attached to that other dog, the shaggy dog guy, the shaggy kid. Seriously, do you think we're going to see? Do you think we're going to see Rickon this season? No, you guys say no. Carmine, do you think we're going to see Rickon this season?
Probably.
Yeah, he's there's been pictures of him on set with the chick from Harry Potter, the Wadling girl. Yeah, he'll be back this season. I just want to see how he'll be back. I mean, he won't be as older as Bran because holy shit, that kid went through puberty like a ton of bricks.
You think he'll be on Bear Island?
Will he be on Bear Island? He's supposed to be at the Last Hearth with the Umbers, but he could probably be at Bear Island. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I for some reason I think that they're going to give elements of when Davos' story to Brienne. I think Brienne's probably going to find him. I don't know why. That's just random speculation. Then
You think Brienne's going to find him? Because in the trailer we saw her over at the Riverlands. So.
And didn't we see her at Bear? Didn't we see her with a sigil of Bear Island as well?
No, that was Davos.
Oh, that was okay. So it's probably Davos then. It's probably Davos.
I think Osha would, if she hears that like Sansa's been found or something, Osha would try to get Rickon to someone in his own family.
And I also know that George R. R. Martin has said on many occasions that he really loves that character, and I'd be very surprised if she doesn't play more of a role in the story as well, because he says he wants to write more for her in the story, so possibly she could have more to do on the show as well. Let's take this call from I'm just like Xing calls all over the place. Sorry guys, I hung up on two calls I didn't mean to hang up on. So we go off to one of the shots of the leak scene. Theon and Sansa run. They can't stop. Sansa just they both wade through some really icy water. Anyone have a problem with that? Anyone have a problem with wading through the icy water? I mean, I'd have done it too, but can you really survive that? Or shouldn't that shit shouldn't they strip? Shouldn't she had to have stripped naked right there? Isn't that what you do?
Afterwards and cuddle up together.
Yeah, cuddle up with me.
Yeah, but you
that clothing would start freezing immediately.
But isn't that the right thing to do? To take off your clothes after that situation?
That's just wishful thinking, Phil.
Okay, she's 20. I can have wishful.
No, they did what they had to do, which was basically just.
Someone in the chat,
You got to see 4 movies tonight, and that wasn't enough for you.
Sorry. I'm being a sick prick. I'm like Sansa's old enough now for me to see her naked. Get her naked on the show. I'm sorry. I'm horrible. Throw me off the fucking bridge. She's beautiful. Give me a break. So we see they go across, and then eventually they get surrounded by the dogs, and Theon really puts himself on the line there. Something is wrong, and I'm not hanging up on you guys. It's immediately sending the calls to voicemail. I'm going to refresh the page, so hopefully that will work and fix that. Someone says no naked Sansa, Phil. Stop it. Arya actress is almost 19. Ned Stark warged into a horse before he died. Says Lazy Bazooka. Jon Snow warged into Rickon.
That's Stark into a horse. That sounds like something the showrunners would do. I can see that.
Mr. Ed Stark, and then he went on to star in his own half-an-hour situational comedy.
Oh, that's nice.
Wilbur!
Hopefully he didn't go into one of the mountains horses.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Get the head chopped off and shit. They're gonna
Jesus, just having him on your back.
Carrying him, damn.
They're gonna CGI Rickon.
Oh.
That's what they're gonna do. Sansa's never getting naked until she meets her only from the Hound, and she's gonna climb on him like a tree, says LaDonna. Edward wants to know: has anyone text Preston to make sure he's okay? I think Carmine's talking.
Actually, I speak to Preston fairly often. I spoke to him a while ago. This is quote unquote. This is what he said. He goes, "Ah, well." That's all he said. That's all he fucking said. So, poor Preston.
So he's not on the Suicide Watch, guys. Welcome to the call. Welcome to the call, caller.
Hey, Phil, it's me again. Do you think that there's a chance that possibly Theon and Sansa could have like a actual relationship instead of being friends?
I mean, minus the very important device that Theon doesn't have anymore. I think maybe. I think the only thing that might be likely, or not likely possible, is that they could develop the brother and sister relationship again. It seemed like when in her moments of need with the Brienne situation, like when she's trying to get through the speech, she's looking to Theon for help in the sense, and probably looks at him as. She probably still has a lot of anger built up in him, but once she found out that the brothers weren't killed, I think some of that rescinded to a certain extent the fact that he helped her out. She's starting to look at him a little bit more as just someone she grew up with, maybe not complete brother, but speaking of which, of like Joe knows someone that he grew up next door that calls him his sister, and she's not his sister, but she feels like she's forever going to be like, she saw you and was in trouble, she'd be like, you're my brother, blah, blah, blah. I think it's the same thing with Sansa and Theon. I think you'll start treating him more like a brother if he really starts regrowing his penis.
I also think it's a case too of she wasn't really there and didn't really witness any of the awful shit firsthand that he did. All she did was hear about it secondhand from other people who were also lying to her about absolutely everything else that she could possibly fucking hear and torturing her and all this shit. And so she was going through so much of her own shit that even the shit she heard about Theon, she sees Theon and she's going to remember Theon from the last time she saw Theon when she left Winterfell in the first place. And look what they've fucking done to him. And yeah, I know he's done these things. I've heard he's done these things, but that's still Theon. That's still the kid I grew up with, my brother, for the most part. So
Ren would also wants to ask quickly,
and then there's this stuff on top of it. So
and Ren also adds, which is a really good point, that they also share the relationship of both being brutalized by Ramsay. So it's something that bonds them both on that. Welcome to the show, caller. Sorry for putting you on hold for a while. What's going on?
No problem. First of all, I just want to say I came here through Devin. I subscribed to his channel and I saw his plug for you, and so far I really like what you got going on.
Oh, thank you, buddy, and huge thank you for Devin for promoting us. It means a lot. And he came out and he sent me a random message just out of nowhere saying I'd love to promote your channel. So I can't say enough awesome things and enough thanks to him for promoting us. It means a shit ton.
Hell yeah.
So I just wanted to bring up one thing that hasn't really come up in the conversation yet. I mean, for that episode for me was a lot of obviously, and it was a lot of looking at stuff that was going to happen anyway. But then one thing that I was really amazed by was the fact that in Marine, all the ships were set on fire, and that just, in my mind, that set up the whole Iron Bank idea, the idea that they end up funding Daenerys' entire conquest of Westeros. So I was thinking that you guys thought about that.
Interesting point. What do you think about that, Carmine? I'm curious what you think about that.
It's completely possible. I mean, they placed their bet on Stannis, and Stannis is done, and they've lost all that money. They ain't getting that shit back. My thoughts either, that's possible that the Iron Bank could back Daenerys, or they probably stay out of it entirely because they've lost way too much on people they've lent money to. They lent money to Tywin. They ain't gonna get that shit back. They lent money to Stannis. They ain't gonna get that shit back. So
they're gonna repossess Jaime's hand. Like we need that.
Well, any money that they gave to Tywin, that was given to the crown, period. They'll get that back. They'll take it from the crown one way or the other. They'll get their money from the crown. The stuff to Stannis, that's gone. I don't think they'll get involved. They hedged their bet. They lost the hedging. So now I think that it kind of sets up to me in my mind, if what Carmine said was right about the Iron Islands taking their shit and heading off down to fucking Marine, then we have a way for her to get her all her people. It takes care of the, oh no, our boat's burned. Oh look, here comes a fleet of boats. We'll take those. So there's always that possibility, and it sets up kind of an alliance because both the Iron Islands and the Khaleesi have reason to hate everybody on fucking Westeros, just about. So they might be thinking they could make a deal and make an alliance there, and here's our boats, and come on, let's do this.
Well, welcome to the show, caller. What's going on?
Hello. Well, I called earlier. I'm James. I just want to say, Phil and Carmine, love you both. You're fantastic. I've got 2 questions. Basically, I was wondering, Robert Strong. There was this big cliffhanger with him last season. What do you think is going to happen with him this season?
Hulk smash. Okay, keep going. Yep.
Yeah, and then well, I'll start with that question, and I'll say the next one after you.
Awesome. Okay, my answer. I'll keep you on the line. My answer to that is I think we're gonna see him kill a whole bunch of sparrows this season, especially Lancel Lannister. I think.
Oh yeah.
I think if at minimum we're gonna see the zombie mountain destroy Lancel Lannister, like rip him apart to shreds, and probably a bunch of the other best fighting sparrows too. What do you guys think? Joe and Katie first.
He looks so awkward that it looks like if you knocked the mountain over onto his back, he'd be like a turtle and would be able to get up.
Yeah. Rankin Mountain.
Rankin Mountain. And what's your other question, buddy?
Well, then my next question really is, no one really ever likes to talk about him, but Davos. What do you think Davos is going to get up to this season? I think it's a very interesting character.
Yep.
But
and good.
No one really ever talks about him.
Good question, Carmine. What do you think will be Davos's arc this season? Do you think it's gonna be similar to the books, where he goes and tries to rally houses to House Stark at some point once Jon's back?
Oh yeah. Melisandre spinned the lie that the Boltons killed Stannis and his family. So Davos will probably try to spend most of it this season avenging Stannis. I mean, that's the best bet. By the end of the series, I think Davos would probably try to go and look for Gendry again, because Gendry is the last Baratheon, and maybe put him up on Storm's End. Who knows?
Ooh, I like that. I think a lot of people are going to be happy with that opinion right there. Welcome, SM Down. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, you guys keep talking about they're not going to get the Stannis money back, but technically Davos was the one that got them to give that loan. You think they'll go after him to get the money back?
I'll take that first. I think that they could try, but you can't bleed a stone. Is that what that expression is? It's not. Davos isn't a rich man. He doesn't own. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have any.
He owns nothing.
He owns nothing.
He was just the middleman negotiator.
Kind of how I feel about my student loans. It's like you can't take it. You can only take so much. I just don't. I'm giving you guys as much as I can give you every month. Can't give you any more than what I can give you. You can't bleed. You can't bleed a rock or something like that. So I would say they might try. They might go to him, Davos, you need to pay us back. But I think he's just gonna be like, There's nothing they can really do to him. Whether killing him is not going to make him pay him back. So yeah, I see what you're saying there, but I'm not sure if that's going to be a factor. Can't bleed an onion. Right. I like that. Can't squeeze blood from a stone. Thank you, Tim. That's
onions make you cry. You don't make onions cry.
Oh, everyone. Prodigy says, I remember Azor Ahai had to kill his wife, somebody he loved, to activate his flaming sword so Jon could kill Ollie or someone he cared about in order to turn Longclaw into Lightbringer. Interesting stuff.
Jon doesn't have Longclaw anymore.
Davos does, right?
No, Davos doesn't have Longclaw either.
Who has Longclaw, Joe?
Dude, Crow. The reason why Crow's not here with me, and she couldn't stay in crow form. I asked her how she did it. She said she did it the same way a sparrow flies with a coconut. I don't know what the fuck that means, but...
Just get to it, Joe. What's going on over there?
She brought me something nice from up north.
Whoa! Wait.
There is no Longclaw up there anymore.
Damn, how much does that
cost? Delivered to me.
How much did that cost you?
It's now mine. I don't know. The crow dropped it off for me. Special delivery from the north. So
that's some detail right there, Joe. I like that.
Longclaw is mine now.
Fuck, dude.
Anyone else's? So And I got no plans on setting this shit on fire, so.
People in the chat.
High.
People say Nisa hasn't been referred to the show. Whoa, Joe! Whatever happened to Quaith? That's an interesting.
I needed something for the back of someone's head, so.
Yeah, so Joe now.
The crow came through. John didn't need it anymore. She flew it down here with a buddy. Something about like strings and coconuts. I don't know what the fuck she said.
People say that's beautiful. Joe's gonna cut himself within a week. Confirmed. Peter Baelish will make an appearance here. Oh, maybe he will. The Iron Bank will hire FM to kill Tommen or Cersei. The Faceless Men to kill Tommen or Cersei. She's been messing with them. They might back the Tyrells. That sword is nice. People say, Joe. Holy fucking shit. Braun wasn't there because he had post-traumatic stress disorder after hearing that bad pussy line whispered in his ear. He can't handle himself anymore. But Joe, okay, so that's where Longclaw is. It makes a lot of sense. Fucking great. Very beautiful, Joe. Someone says, Ben R says, am I tripping or is that dog moving? Yes. Our
it's not only moving, it talks.
Yes, it did.
You are tripping.
Yes, you are a fuck pig.
You are fucked up, man.
Dude. Don't you hate when people do that? Are you tripping?
You are freaking out, man.
Okay, let's continue. So we continue. Theon, Lady Bolton, yada yada yada. So this scene, we kind of already talked through this scene. Basically, they catch up to Theon and Sansa. They find Theon tries to sacrifice himself for Sansa, but they end up catching him, and they see Sansa, and everything's going wrong. It's going to be a horrible situation. But wait, someone's coming. It's a woman. Fuck that. You know who it is. And it's Brienne and Podrick running in, and they start fighting. Podrick's fighting. Brienne charges. She gets knocked off her horse, which is really a rare thing, seeing Brienne get knocked off her horse, actually beaten by someone for a second. This is a tough fight for Brienne. This isn't no easy fight like fighting Littlefinger's people. This was she actually had to put effort in here. And she puts up a great fight. Podrick's doing good. Brienne takes out like 5 guys. Podrick takes out 1, kind of.
No, he does take out 1. He kills 1 on horseback, and then he starts fighting another one on foot when he gets knocked down.
Right, but the best move of the night was Brienne doing that sort of jump attack move where she just goes thrashing. I really love seeing Gwendolyn Christie doing action. She's so good. She's so good at it. And again,
this rival action she did in Star Wars, bar none.
I took my joke from earlier, Joe. I was just about, you cut me off, Joe. I was just
did I? I'm sorry, man.
Fucking whoever the next director of the next Star Wars movies, watch. She's good at action. Give her some action in your fucking movie. Fuck.
No, better yet, put a bag over her head and don't make her do anything.
And just make her walk around like that.
What the fuck?
Fuck, man. But great scene, good scene. There's not much to talk about here with Brienne fighting scene, yada yada yada. So then we get Sansa and Brienne becoming her Queen's Guard. This was the scene as I was
talking. Saves Podrick's life. That's worth.
Yes. Oh yes.
Saves Podrick's life and makes all of Game of Thrones fandom love Theon again.
I cried after this next part of that scene.
I did too.
Beautifully done.
Carmine called me a bitch earlier, but I am a bitch. Fucking pussy.
I cried, man. I had tears in my eyes. I was psyched for that shit.
Yep.
When Podrick opened up his mouth and corrected and told Sansa what to say, that he knows the oath, and I was like, wow, this kid is not only like, he is fucking awesome. And like, she finished up, she was nervous, she did what she was supposed to do. Like, that was just such a fucking moment that like, you know, I felt such relief for Sansa. It was the first time I had a Sansa scene that actually fucking really moved me.
Yeah.
Nothing else in 5 seasons from Sansa has done anything for me. But for some reason, this scene really did it. This really did it
for Brienne too. She finally
and that's what it was too. It was like for both of them.
Like she promised
and all being said, that's what made me get emotional about it, Katie, is that her actually finally get to do something right. Just kind of made me slightly teary-eyed. How about you, Carmine? Did that warm your soft little knuckles?
No, I mean I did like it. I thought it was really cool, but I didn't get teary-eyed.
But I felt happy for Brienne in that moment. Great action scene. Reminded me, just good to see her fight. I didn't notice. I'd have to rewatch the scene because I was taking notes. Did swords shatter in that scene because of the Valyrian sword? I didn't. What I liked about the Littlefinger scene, and Carmine might have said this in a video too. I really liked that we see in the scene when she's fighting Littlefinger's guys that using the Valyrian sword made the other swords break when it hit it. So I can't remember. I'd have to rewatch the scene tonight.
I didn't see it. Did she drop her sword?
At one point, yeah, it was knocked out of her hand.
So that's not going to break it. If she can't hold on to it, that's not going to break another sword.
Helio says, although
this was the smaller of the two.
Brienne was a dick in Star Wars. Yeah, she was.
The bigger of the two.
And thank you, everybody. I see a couple people calling it a night. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It means so much that all you guys jumped in the chat tonight. So,
I couldn't. Oh, but there will be no chat posted afterwards. It's moving too fast. All that computer shit. It's gone.
Going nuts.
I could never keep track of it tonight. This is ridiculous.
Let's take another call. What's going on, caller?
It'll be gone forever.
Hey, what's up, guys?
How's it going?
Big fan. Question for you. Have you guys ever thought about more so book stuff, but Valyrian steel armor?
Ooh, very interesting. I think hopefully that will go to Dragonstone, start carving up that stit and get a Valyrian steel factory going on. Do you think I'll show those to Carmine. Do you think has there ever been a Valyrian suit of armor? Is there anything that I'm missing? Has that ever been talked about?
Oh God, a Valyrian suit of armor. Wow, I think I've thought about it once, but I'm like, nah, it's probably too much. I think someone said before in the books that the metal, even though there was abundance of it, I think it would have been a little too much. Yeah, not too hard to forge, but it would have wasted way too much steel, and it just would have been better to just have the sword, because a great offense is also a good defense. So there would have been no point, because only the Valyrians could have made it. So they could have probably beat the shit out of everybody. They didn't really need the armor.
Yeah, a couple.
Maybe the armor was not a big thing in that area. Like that's in a pretty arid, dry, hot area. No.
Yeah, and a couple of people are saying in the chat too that there was Valyrian steel boner. The Valyrian steel of armor. I don't think I've ever heard of it. A couple of people said that there's just not enough to use it in that form or anything like that too. So our next scene that we get into is probably one of, if not my favorite scene of the entire episode. Excuse me, the Cersei and Jaime stuff. We had seen this.
My least favorite.
Katie, very interesting. I really like this because I like the parallels. I more and more as time goes on, I realize I had to associate with one house. Not that I think that they're the best people in the world, but I think my favorite house is House Lannister. Jaime's one of my favorite characters. Tywin's one of my favorite characters. Tyrion is, and I love fucking Cersei's craziness. So I fucking love House Lannister. I fucking do. So I love seeing this interaction between the two of them. I really wish Jaime would get to the point where he was anti-Cersei, but I feel like maybe we're kind of heading in that direction. I also think we're heading in Cersei is going to completely go off her rocker this season.
Jaime's going to feed that. We will make them all pay. We will take everything of theirs, and we will take and take and take from them. He's going to feed that. He's going to like that. I was a little put off by it, and I had zero fucks to give for Cersei's tears. May her joy turn to ashes in her fucking mouth.
You want it to turn to ashes in her mouth, Joe, right?
Yeah. Fuck.
One of the lines I liked in the scene was "fuck prophecy, fuck fate, fuck everyone that isn't us. We're the only ones that matter, the only ones in the world, and everything they've taken from us, we're gonna take it back. We're gonna take it all back. We're gonna take it all back." Carmine, what did you think of this scene? Just curiosity.
What, the Cersei Jaime scene?
Yeah, Cersei Jaime stuff.
I thought it was good. I liked it. Like I said, I'm surprised she went into the prophecy, but I'm also surprised she didn't talk about the brother part of the prophecy. And to the whole Jaime being anti-Cersei, I don't think we're going to get that in the show, because in the books, right after they fuck each other in front of Joffrey's corpse, the relationship starts to drift apart. But in the show, it's very strong. So I don't think we'll ever get that in the show, which is a shame, because I want to see that.
Yeah, and if we do get it, we might only get it at the very last minute, in the very last, towards the very, very end, as Jaime coming to the realization as he chokes her out and stuff. So it was a good. I enjoyed the scene between the two of them. So let's get to Dorne. We talked a lot about it at the beginning of the show about Dorne, so I'm just going to kind of yada yada through this, and people tell me not to yada yada through Game of Thrones episodes. I'm not yada yadaing through the good stuff. So Dorne, yada yada, always envisioned Oberyn, yada yada, he truly lived, yada yada, Buckman, da 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 da.
They were still just as bad as they were last season.
Carmine and I went very in depth with the whole first hour of the show, is us bitching about Dorne. So Katie and Joe, you guys didn't really get a chance to talk about it. What did you think of the Dorne stuff? First of all, Joe, are you a fan of Dorne in the book? I know you're not.
In the book, yes.
You're a fan of Dorne.
I was a fan of the way Dorne was described, and I was a fan of, but as far, I thought it kind of was, it cluttered a little bit of the story. I felt a little bit like I did about the Ironborn.
That's what I was. That's funny because I was going to say, I know you don't have a big affinity for the Greyjoys. You don't have a big affinity for things off the beaten path of the main storyline. For the most part, you're not a big fan of the Grey. You're like, okay, the Greyjoys should be their own book. You don't want them in the main. I think I'm suppositioning what you say, but I've heard you say something similar to that before.
And yeah, because there's like another character in the book too that there's kind of involved that I was like, where did this fucking come from? This is kind of really fucking weird. And then like, so it felt like it. Like just like the Ironborn Kingsmute crap, this was added in the books to make the book equal to the 1,500 pages that the last books were. Mm-hmm. So I kind of felt like it was there just to add more. But I did love all the Oberyn Martell shit, and I loved everything that led up to the fight with him in the mountain and I loved the backstories and with Prince Rhaegar and all this stuff, and it made for a richer, fuller world. I didn't like so much the focus on, and they didn't really give much in the books. It almost seems like there's more in the show, and it's bad.
Did you like the fact that they decided to kill Doran?
Different.
No. Did you?
Well, I don't necessarily know if I don't like it because I don't know what's going to happen next. Like that could happen, frickin' next book, first chapter, for Christ's sakes. Just like who the fuck knows with George Martin, but. I was hoping to get more from Bashir than basically 10 minutes of fucking screen time.
Yeah. No, it's exactly what I expected, and it was done badly like I expected them to do it.
Yeah.
The whole thing up to the son being killed by the two girls.
Yep.
Was he ever taught to fight? Like, turn your back on someone? I don't care if they said they won't kill me. You. And she never. That Carmine really bothered me.
Perfectly, and someone said, a couple people said in the chat too, Alexander Siddig was wasted. He's a good actor. He can do a lot of things, and he actually originally auditioned to play the Red Viper, but they told him he was too old, but he could play Doran. And you feel bad for the guy. You feel bad for the guy. He was a fan of the series, a fan of the books, some stuff with him, and he probably thought he was going to be playing a much different character, and to be associated, introduced to the show, and now be associated with that storyline. I do feel bad for him. But
what's really worse about that, Phil, if you don't mind me jumping
please go.
If what's really worse is I just fucking hate how the showrunners go, yeah, we don't know if we're gonna do season 8. We only have 13 episodes of content left. You would have had more had you incorporated Doran properly, but of course they didn't. So
absolutely.
Yep, and they would have had more if they had done, the Iron Island shit right, and then they would have had more if they had done the trip north right, and they would have had more with Bran and them. It just they would have had so much more if they had done so much more according to the book. They could have made this 10 seasons easily.
Yeah, they cut themselves off at so many points.
Let's get to something. Oh, we'll take a call, but then let's get to something good to talk about. Welcome to the show, caller. How's it going?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. I actually have some notes here for once in my life, so I'm just going to read off real quick. Here's the Dorne topic.
Do it.
First off, if I'm not mistaken, is House Martell not the first great house in Game of Thrones, at least on the show, to go extinct? Because if I'm not mistaken, Duran's only son in the show is Trystane.
Oh, good question. I think other than the Reigns, Casimir, like that sort of stuff that Tywin did, I think they are. Carmine, are they the first house, major house that you can think of to go extinct?
Baratheon.
First major house. No, what about House Baratheon?
House Baratheon, yeah. Joe and you said that at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
House Baratheon. I mean, Gendry's alive, but he is a bastard, so...
Right.
Good one. Is Carmine, just a side question. House Baratheon, is that your favorite of all the houses?
Yeah, I like House Baratheon because if you look through their history, they're just a pretty kick-ass house. I mean, a lot of their lords have just been badasses, and I just like the design of the sigil. Robert was one of my favorite characters because he's like, we all have that one friend who is Robert, who's just a drunk douche. I just like the house. Stannis was also cool in the books. Renly was even a little bit more manlier in the books as well. They were just a really cool house. Some people think the reason House Baratheon got destroyed in the show is because the showrunners don't really like them that much. And if that's true, that's kind of a shame because they do have potential.
Yep. Caller, do you have any other questions?
The one other thing I was going to say is, if I'm not mistaken, Trystane was on the ship that went to King's Landing. So does that actually mean that the Sand Snakes managed to stow away aboard this ship in order to assassinate him in
No, that's not possible. You saw them at the end of season 5.
The plan.
Yeah, that's
I'm going to disconnect your Carmine, go.
That's inconsistent because at the end of season 5, we saw them all in like those stupid dresses, watching the ship sail away. Phil or Joe? One of you guys tell me this. Was Trystane in the boat or in the castle?
The only thing I can possibly think is that we never see him board the same boat, so maybe he was on a separate boat. They sent him on a separate boat alone to Dorne to follow them to King's Landing, and that's the only possible explanation. That I actually did just rewatch Katie, and it's not Carmine's right. The last we see of them, they make it seem like Trystane's on that boat. So it seems like revisionist history. Joe, do you have any insight on this?
Curious.
Yeah.
The wizard did it?
My insight is, God, darn shit sucks.
Yeah. Well,
like, really fucking
It
sucks.
didn't seem like Trystane was devastated like he would be if he knew Marcella was dead.
Right, that's what makes me think, Katie. That's where it makes me think he must be on a different, like the whole thing. He's on a different boat. That it's a separate boat. Because the prince was moving there, so maybe he needs a whole boat with all of his shit. Because
So how did they get on the fucking boat? Another boat was dispatched and caught up to them.
Because they're so stealthy.
He needs this matched luggage like Spaceballs. So let's enough of this shit sandwich.
And well, they did make Bashir also kind of fucking douchey right before they killed him. He's like, oh, Oberyn got to travel the world and do all this shit, and I had to stay here in this beautiful palace and rule. Oh well. And like all the guards just sit there and watch. They don't care. Let them die.
Do me a favor now and just get the fuck off Dorne, and let's get to a good scene, which is Tyrion and Varys walking together in Marine. I can never get enough Tyrion and Varys. This was really funny stuff. They start talking about we're never going to fix this city from the top of the pyramid. We'll be fine. We're dressed like common merchants. And Varys goes, you walk like a rich person. You spend a lot of time studying rich people's walks. Well, you walk
like... Yeah. You own the cobblestones beneath your fucking feet.
Yep.
The paving stones of your personal property. And Varys goes, I used to steal from people like you when I was a boy. It's a good thing you're not a boy anymore. What? Get it? Because you don't have a cock? I love that line.
I don't understand that.
That he's not a boy anymore.
I know. Oh, right. So he doesn't have... So... neither one of them is smart enough. He has to point out that he doesn't have a cock.
I think that was part of the jab. I think
it was just Tyrion falling into the well of this is our relationship with me ragging on you, and I can't go 5 minutes without making a you don't have a cock joke.
Get it? Haha. You don't have a cock. Get it?
Yeah, get it? It was his... Tyrion is a lot of things, but he's a little prick, too.
They're pretty much the medieval fantasy version of Abbott and Costello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's gonna ball? What's gonna ball? First base, cut off the dick. Okay, so you got no color. That wasn't as funny as I wanted it to be. So she thinks you want to eat your baby. Tyrion goes up to a commoner and be careful. And then they get into the...
I will not sell you my child for dinner.
Tyrion tries to speak Valyrian and doesn't do it too well. And they go back and forth. And they just keep going back and forth. The queen isn't as popular as they used to be. They talk about the Sons of Harpies. We kind of get the setup to later find out and we don't find on this episode, but to later find out about Dario. I think there's two big clues in this episode about Dario being the leader of the Harpies. There's one in this scene when they go, it's
too well organized.
Yeah, it's too well organized. It could be someone. It could also be a free man. It could be one of the former slaves that Danny feels has abandoned them. It could be anyone. And then later in the scene that we get afterwards with Dario and Jorah, Dario says something when he goes, maybe she went off to go somewhere else. I wish she would do that. He just gets this look on his face to me that I read.
No, she wishes she could do that.
He wishes she could do that, but he also gets this look on his face. I think like he wishes she could do that, so he wouldn't have to backstab her. Because I think he's starting to have. I think he's backstabbed her, and he's starting to feel somewhat mildly bad for
a betrayal of love.
He loves her.
The real betrayal.
Ultimately, the scene ends with Marine with the ships, with Danny's ships burning, and this was a good scene. And anybody got anything else to say about the scene with Varys?
Well, I like how everybody's running, everybody's fleeing a scene and screaming about shit. And so what does Abbott and Costello do? They head right into the wave of people running away. Most people would be like, oh shit, you know, like must be a herd of rats. Or
away
like,
from the.
The blob is coming, the fog is coming, fucking the mountain is coming to rape people or something.
Yeah, we won't be sailing to Westeros anytime soon. Carmine, do you have anything you want to say about this scene before we move on?
No, I really like their banter, and I hope it continues. I mean, I know we're going to get like a red woman coming to Marine. Besides that one priest guy, we're going to get like another Melisandre 2, you could say. And we know Varys hates people that do magic. So I hope like Tyrion and Varys' relationship doesn't deteriorate. Because more likely Tyrion will call on the red woman for help.
Now my question, or just to expand on that a little bit, maybe you can give me more. I don't know if there is any more information about when the person cut off Varys' penis and threw it into them. Were they praying to the Red God? Was that the Red God? Or do we not know?
Oh God. Fucking Preston's got me on this one. Preston believes that the guy who did that was communicating with the old man that Bran goes to.
Oh, the blood rape.
Why would how does he get that?
I have no idea. You have to watch that video. All we know from Varys is that the old man cut off his cock and balls to do some kind of magic thing, and that's really all we know. But you'll have to watch one of his videos.
I'll link you to Preston's channel, Joe. But from what my approximation, I could be totally killing it. I think he thinks that the children in Bloodraven are really evil, and that they're using Bran and using everyone, and they have a whole evil agenda going on. I'm suppositioning it, so I'm not going to argue Preston's point, but I'll share you the video so you can.
It's an interesting video. Like he does have a way of convincing you that this is all true.
He has a very convincing way of talking. That when you're listening to him talk, like you, Joe, in a different sort of way. Like when you start getting logical, Joe, you're like, I can't argue with that. Preston's similar. He does it in a different way, but it's the same sort of thing. He gives you these facts, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. Yes, I believe in that. Yes. So I'll play you some of his videos so you can get into that later, Joe. So our next scene we get into is the Jorah and Dario chasing after Khaleesi. I thought this was a very funny scene between the two of them. I think they have great banter as well. This was probably the scene that I liked this Dario the most in.
Yeah. Hey, Jorah. Yeah, Dario. How's it feel to be jelly?
Yeah. How's it feel? And it's back and forth that they go, and I said, this is somewhere from far away. This is the line that he says. Maybe she's gone somewhere far away from men like us. And he gives this look.
There is no place far away from men like us.
Yes, there is no way away. Let's take another call right now. Welcome, our buddy from England. How's it going?
Hello there. Yeah, good to talk to you again. So you were talking about Dario. And I just want to bring up a theory. You might have heard about it before, but have you heard about the theory that Dario might be Benjen Stark?
No, he's not.
Let's go to Red Team. Red, what do you say? No.
No, he's not.
Oh, well, not in the show at least. In the books, that's possible. George likes to disguise characters as other characters. We've seen that before. But in the show, that's just not. Well, unless Benjen is secretly like a faceless person, but I doubt that. I think Benjen somehow has something to do with the Night's King and the White Walkers.
I think Dario's Dario.
Yeah, and he also before I get off this, I think Dario is the Harpy. In the books, we don't know who the leader of the Harpies is, but in the show, it's got to be Dario. There's no other characters that it could possibly be.
It doesn't make sense for it to be anyone else. At a point in time, it could have been Dario or his Dar, but once he got killed, you knew it wasn't him, and Dario's the only person that makes sense. It's someone we know, and we haven't learned enough of the Wise Masters by just knowing them as characters. It needs to be a character we know so that the betrayal is strong. SM, what's going on, buddy?
I actually disagree. I actually think that Hizdar was the leader of the Harpies, and whoever was his second in command at the time he killed him was just trying to take over.
Ooh, interesting.
It was just,
that's also possible.
I don't know what you call it when you.
Dario.
Like you're second in command, and you kill the first in command to become the leader or whatever.
Usurping.
It was that. And I also think that they don't have, well, actually, with the Valyrian steel armor idea, there is a big-ass safe in the city that Dany left that is a big door made of Valyrian steel. They could somehow go get that and, like...
Are you talking about a car?
And make a whole shitload of weapons out of it.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, nice.
Did they say that was a Valyrian steel door?
In cars?
Zoro, what's his face?
Yeah, I don't remember that, but... I don't remember that being a Valyrian steel door.
I'll take the caller's word for it until I'm proven otherwise. Welcome back to the show, other caller. What's going on?
Hey, I figured out, and so I'm a little bit late on this, but I figured out the perfect way to kill Ollie.
Let's do it. Tell me.
So you have one person killing Melisandre, just keeps bringing him back each time, and it becomes a national pastime in Westeros.
So it's
what can be the most brutal kill on Ollie?
So it's like the Method Man thing where you sew someone's asshole shut and you just keep feeding them and feeding them and feeding them and feeding them and feeding them. I love it.
Keep bringing back. But the other thing I was going to mention, here's the thing that bugged me about tonight's episode, because you know how the boat and like everybody was all over the place, it didn't make any sense. Where was Bronn? Did they leave him on an island?
I was wondering that too.
Good question, caller. I don't know where Bronn was. I don't think Bronn's dead. I think we will see Bronn again. I mean, obviously there is some speculation or some with the pod getting grabbed. A lot of people think that was Bronn, and if you freeze it at the right moment, you can kind of see the hair too. I think Bronn was too big of a television character and book character too. But I think to die off screen somewhere, I think they just wanted to fast track into the Cersei and Jaime stuff.
What do we need anything from Bronn for right in this episode?
Yeah, he was easily. It's there's so much
his quirky remarks. I mean, people love that.
Yeah.
I know, but we have all these other quirky remarks going on too. So,
welcome Reggie. Welcome to the show.
I love him too.
What's going on? I left a message about this, so feel free to disregard it later. But can Brienne get that Lannister pummel off that sword? That makes her like a huge target.
It does, yeah. Good point.
Excellent point.
Good point.
She needs to ditch that stuff. It made sense too last season when Littlefinger goes, someone's paying you now. Looks like I missed Littlefinger tonight. I hope we get to see him next week because we didn't see him in the previews, and I know Littlefinger's one of your favorite characters, right, Carmine? He's like the top of your list.
Well, yeah, but in the trailer we see Littlefinger in the snow, like that's around the same area Sansa is. So I'm wondering if he comes looking for Sansa, and if you pause at the right time, you can see his facial expression change. So I wonder if Brienne's going to kill him. Oh God, I hope not. 'Cause I fucking love Littlefinger. He is the main character. Technically, Tyrion's the main character of Thrones, but to me, Littlefinger is the main character. He plays the Game of Thrones, and nobody else does that. So to me, he is the main character.
I would say there's the argument to make, and you've heard a lot of people make that the whole game is just a game being played between Varys and Littlefinger.
Yeah, it is.
And there's a lot of truth to that, a lot of fucking truth to that. So okay, so this whole scene ultimately leads up to dun 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 dun. She's with the Dothraki, and it's also a funny scene between them where, so when you grow old, I'm gonna be like you. If you grow old, I hope I grow old. So poor Jorah is gonna die. He's not gonna grow old. He's gonna die of fucking that disease he has real soon. So they found Dany. Dany is with the Dothraki. As we get the Dothraki horde, ton of scope. Joe and I were talking about this in the preview cast, that what I really like about them bringing the Dothraki back is when we saw them at the beginning of the show, they didn't have the money to do the Dothraki right. And I like the wide scope of how big the Dothraki seem, and I'm not just talking about penis
I
size.
still thought they seemed kind of small.
Really? I thought that seemed really big to me.
They gypped on. I don't know. Maybe on a rewatch you might feel different, or I might feel different. But I felt like they kind of they played with the camera a little bit. It didn't seem like a lot. And the only thing I kept thinking the whole time is if this was really a big fucking horde, there wouldn't just be a circle in the middle of the field. There would be like a swat. Remember, like you remember?
It would look like a plowed field.
Right. You remember the buffalo Tatanka? Remember that swath of dirt like through the field from the herd of buffalo in I forget the name of the Dances with Wolves.
Yeah,
it would look something like that. That many horses with people on horseback, and that many other people, slaves and caravans walking, pulling tents and pulling supplies and pulling all this shit.
Yeah.
There would be this massive fucking dirt path. There would be no problem finding them.
So stop bringing reality into my fantasy. But you're right. But yeah,
none whatsoever. This would be like the easiest track job ever.
Walter, you're right, but don't be an asshole. No, you're totally right. Welcome to the show, caller. What's going on?
Hi, how are you doing?
Doing great.
So, I have a theory. I don't think Dario is the leader of the Harpy. I think, remember the woman who cut the throat of the Unsullied in that one scene? I think she might be the leader of the Harpy.
Ooh, very interesting. Very interesting.
Well, can I argue against that for a minute here?
Please, do it.
In season 4, going back to the, in season 4, remember when Jorah was trying to convince Dany to spare the Masters? She sends Hizdar and Dario to Yunkai to treat with the Masters who took back the city. So, and also in season 4, Dario knows a lot about Marine. And what I'm thinking is, while Dario and Hizdar were in Yunkai, they probably made a pact. Yep. And the reason Dario didn't just kill Dany outright is because he's probably going to try to use her. I mean, he was trying to get her to marry him, even though that was a stupid idea, and he probably knew she wouldn't go for it, but he tried. He has some ambitions, and he also needs her because of the dragons. She can control the dragons. They are pretty much a nuclear deterrent. One dragon is strong enough, but 3 dragons they pretty much can fuck everybody over.
Yeah, triangulation. It is known. It is known.
I agree with that, and that goes back to the other thing about Dario not being the one that was in charge of the Harpies, but Hizdar being the one in charge, and the number 2 then going to stab and kill Hizdar when they had the chance during all of that, so that they could kind of be in charge of the whole plan from that point and be the one that controls it. Also, if he was already paid by the Harpies to turn, why not kill the Harpies right then and there? Kill the leader of the Harpy right then and there too.
Someone in the chat says Carmine's theory is solid. Dario being revealed to be the Harpy in a random plot twist is right up TNT's alley. So they go in this scene. The funniest part of this scene setting up, and I love this kind of thing. This gets set up in a lot of movies and TV shows. When 2 people are talking in a language, there's a really funny episode of Seinfeld when George Costanza gets brought into the nail salon that Elaine's getting shit talked and he can understand everybody. Well, Danny can understand everybody, and they say, "Pink people are afraid of the sun. She's an idiot. She has pretty eyes, but I'm gonna fuck her in the ass, make her my dog." They're saying great stuff, and Danny can understand everything. And I thought as much as
conversation we would be having, Phil.
It would be you and me having that conversation about Danny. I give Danny a lot of shit, and I give Emile Clark a lot of shit. I thought she played these scenes pretty well, and I thought when she kind of puts on, she's playing dumb pretty well, and then when she shifts her eyes to crazy on the attack, Danny. I've said this before. My problem with Daenerys scenes are on my second watches. Usually, I'm interested in them on my first watches. I just don't feel like they especially the past ones in past seasons, like when we're doing rewatches seasons 1 and 2, and you're like, okay, all this shit happened and it really didn't amount to too much.
To shit.
But I feel like I really enjoyed her scenes tonight. I did. I thought this was one of the most this is one of the first examples of a time I can say I really enjoyed Emile Clark's performance in this episode since season 1.
Her performance was good. It's just that no nudity clause in her contract is still pissing the shit out of it. Because, like, he was about to rip off her clothes. Just rip off her clothes. Show a titty, maybe one ass cheek. You don't have to show the whole thing. You don't have to show bush or nothing, but he was about to rip off her clothes, and then they stop it right there. It's just...
They stop it right there. She's like, She pulls out her contract, Carmine. She showed it to the Dothraki. She's like, my contract says I was married to Khal Drogo. That means I can't be
Hey,
stripped
to be
naked.
honest, when she was an in-demand actress on Terminator Genesis, okay, you have something there, but then it flopped, so fuck off. Now you got to get naked.
Yeah, and the thing too is, she goes off. I am Daenerys Stormborn of 1,000 fucking names, right? And he basically says the same thing to her that fat fuck said in Karth when he was standing at the top of the stairs looking down at her and said, "I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit who, like, you're the queen of what? You're the queen of nothing. I don't see an army. I don't see a society anywhere. You're a scared little girl about to get fucked in my tent by everybody in my Khalasar. Shut the fuck up." And he should have ripped her dress off, smacked her in the mouth for saying anything in the first place. She wouldn't have been able to get a freaking word out. Yeah, she's pretty, but she'll still be pretty when she's crying and bleeding from the lip, too.
Oh,
I'm sure that's what he's thinking.
Joe,
Or all the other Khalasar is thinking.
Keith Hinton asked the important question I forgot. Do the curtains match the carpet? We forgot that. I wonder if she has white hair on her pussy as well, is what he says.
Have you ever fucked a girl with white hair? Not since your grandma. And there's a little foreshadow in there about the white-haired pussy. About the old pussy.
Some funny stuff. Ultimately, the scene leads up. We kind of just already talked around this. It leads up to the point where she's about to get her clothes ripped off and raped by the new Carl, and she throws the Drogo card. She has it in her back pocket the whole time. At first, she tries getting all rage-filled Targaryen on his ass, and he's not buying any of that shit. So finally, she throws the Drogo card, and she goes, "Yeah." Blah, blah, blah. And what bothers me, not bothers me, but Daenerys is a character. No, she's stupid. I would think that Daenerys would be smart enough to realize that by saying that to them, yeah, she's not going to get raped, but they're just going to drag her to Vaz Dothrak and make her sit with the crones. Like, she should know that already. Yep. And I think, maybe it's the lesser of the two problems. Obviously, that's better than getting railed by a bunch of Dothraki. But ultimately, I think that, I don't know, she was maybe in a no-win position. Maybe I'm being hard on Daenerys. Yeah. Maybe I'm being hard on Daenerys. So she ultimately does that, and they tell her that no one's going to hurt her, no one's going to touch her, because that's not what happens. You're going to go to Vastaratharak and have to sit around with the rest of the crones that we met in Season 1. So I think that's enough of Daenerys. We're going to get more into Daenerys.
I did like Carl's his line, I even if I were a blind man, just by hearing my wife say to kill you now, I know you're pretty. And I am glad I'm not blind.
Carmine, this one's for you. A comment says episode 2 is going to be a full Sam and Gilly episode. It's How do you feel about that, Carmine? Oh gosh, I think you just killed Carmine. Chatter. Way to go! It's we got through almost the whole show. And
I would love a full Sam and Gilly episode. I love Sam. I don't like Gilly. I'm not a big Gilly fan, but I love Sam.
Like book Sam when Sam is fucking relevant, not like Sam and Gilly's love relationship type of bullshit. I've heard you've quoted to say that they've screwed up Sam for you in the show, right? If you want to get into it, okay.
Yeah.
So our next scene that we get into is blind Arya sitting there in the street begging. Some dude gives her a coin. Then we hear the waif talking to her. Are you listening, blind girl? Do you hear them talking? Do you hear any of them talking to you? No, it's so sad. Stand and fight, blind girl. I can't see you. Well, that's your fucking problem, not mine. And she beats the shit out of Arya and goes, "See you tomorrow." Then she punches her time clock. So I guess my question to everybody about this is, do you think this is basically going to be our Arya story all season? Will we see Arya possibly doing more this season? Will she leave Braavos this season? I'll go to Joe and Katie first and then over to Carmine. Will Arya leave Braavos this season?
I really hope she does. I hope this isn't it. I hope this goes on maybe a few episodes up to episode 5. We get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I hope they don't make it all as cheesy as they do the Sand Snakes. I liked this. This was okay.
It's good now. I hope they don't draw it out.
I really hope they don't draw it out.
I think Arya has the passion and the desire to kick this girl's ass real quick.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's coming. Carmine, what did you think of the Arya scenes, and where would you like to see Arya go this season?
I don't really have much to say about the Arya stuff. Nothing really major is going on. But what I think by the end of the season, Arya will pretty much be a good fighter, because she has to do things blind. But at the same time, I also think Arya will awaken her warg powers, because Arya is a Stark. She can be a warg, and there are animals around Braavos, namely cats, and she could probably warg into a cat and see who's coming a mile away. So yeah.
That'd be
And she's gonna go straight Daredevil. People in the chat.
Oh
saying,
maybe I'm thinking of Daredevil too much, but yeah, I hope so.
I would be okay with that.
I think she's
Good
going
stuff.
to become.
Good stuff.
A couple people say the waif is hot. Ren says, I hope she kills that slag, and then leaves Bravo, says Red. Arya goes full Daredevil. You mean act like shit? Waifs need some serious sodomy done to her, says Heath hinted. Fucking Heath. People want to know, Carmine, where are you from? Carmine, where the fuck are you from?
Well, I'll put it this way. I'm from the city that Daredevil protects. No lie. So.
Yep. And Carmine, show your fucking face. That's what people want. Show your face.
I like my anonymity like grade A under A. So maybe another point.
So yeah, they're your answers to those questions, chat. So let's continue. So yeah, see your ass tomorrow. Beat your ass today. I'll beat your ass tomorrow. So okay, back at the wall. Here's our sort of end scene here, our final scene of the episode. And we'll get through this final scene, and then I'll open up the phones for a little while for a couple more calls before we call it an evening. Huge thanks to Carmine for joining us for all evening. Fucking trooper, Carmine, joining us for all night. We really appreciate it. Back at the wall. And I'm so glad that you and Joe, I'm so glad you, Katie, were able to join us tonight. Joe, yeah, I'm glad. No, I'm so glad both you guys were able to get in here tonight.
You know what my problem was? And I don't know why neither mic was coming up for this reason, but the main mix button was pressed. But I don't understand why that would fuck with the cam.
Too much inside baseball. We'll talk about that after the show, Joe. Back at the wall, Thorne is banging on the door. This was a really awesome interaction between Thorne and Davos. We want to talk about favorite points in the episode. I love this part. I love this part. This got me super excited. This was the part where I started to getting my fucking super excitement type thing going on. Oh my god, I'm so excited! Back at the wall, Thorne's banging on the door. Ghost is pissed. Sir Davos is like, we have no cause to fight. Or Thorne says to him, we have no cause to fight. We're both anointed knights. And then I love Davos. Davos turns to him. Oh, hear that, lads? We got nothing to fear here. We're okay. And Thorne goes, I grant you amnesty to all brothers who throw down their arms before nightfall. And you, Sir Davos, I will allow you to travel south as a free man. And Davos goes, and do I get some mutton? Yeah, I like mutton. Mutton's good. And the look on Thorne's face, great play by the actor. The moment that the actor takes this moment, he just gives this look like, what did you say? What did you say?
Yeah. You can have some mutton.
My question to you guys, and we get into this, Davos is like, I'm not we'll discuss it amongst ourselves and get back to you. And Thorne kind of laughs. And then he goes, boys, I've been running from men like this my whole life, and my learned opinion, if we open that door, they all slaughter us. Do all three of you guys agree with that? If they open that door, does Thorne just kill all of them anyway?
Absolutely.
Carmine, do you think that Thorne kills them no matter what?
God, he's not letting Davos escape. Are you kidding me?
He's not letting anybody escape. So you can take that fucking red bitch with you if you want to take the red bitch with you. Now, boys, I've been running from men like this my whole life. My learned opinion. If we open that door, they all slaughter us. They want to come in, they're going to come in. But we don't need to make it easy for them. Ed is our only fan. And then I love this line, even though it's just, I think this was a bit of a fan service line because Ed is a popular character. It's a sad fucking statement if Dolores Ed is our only chance. There's always the red woman. What? One redhead against all these armed men?
Now we know why that baby came out all fucking smoke.
Yeah.
Final thing. We see Mel alone in her room.
Smoke and dust.
She's looking at her table, and she gets up. She walks to the mirror. She looks in it. She takes her clothes off. Shows us some titties. She looks in the mirror. She takes off the rest. And this was the thing. You people were asking, did I get turned on? Not when she shows the titties, but when there's something about the television thing when a woman steps out of like the whole clothes and you see the ass come out. I was just like, ah!
Her whole body.
So hot. Yeah, I just think Melisandre is hot.
She has a nice form.
She takes the look. It's very sad. She takes the neck piece out. They do some interesting editing cutting, and she looks back, and suddenly we're at the end of the fucking Titanic, and it's fucking an old woman, and it looks fucking sick and crazy. She almost looks like a White Walker. She's so fucking old.
Hey. I think this old woman was beautiful, and God bless her for getting up there and doing that shit. Way to go.
So, and that's what we have. So, by this, and I'm going to bring this to Joe and Katie and then bring it over to Carmine first, but ultimately, does this mean that the rumor, and I'm blanking on the name of this this theory, but the theory that Melisandre is possibly Bloodraven's sister or daughter.
I have never fucking heard that before. What the fuck is that one called?
Let me try to find it while I'm talking. But what did you guys think of this Melisandre scene? Carmine, you first, buddy. To Joe, I don't think that was an actual old woman. I think that was an old woman's suit, maybe.
Either way.
Maybe a little of both.
Either way.
I thought it was pretty interesting. Like I said, I do hope that they explain.
My body looks like that. What do you
Yeah,
think?
like I hope they explain why in season 4, episode 7, she was taking a shower and she didn't have the necklace on. I hope they explain, like, is it immortality? Is it eternal youth? What the hell is that?
There was also a potion on the table too.
Yeah.
That she put the necklace down next to. So maybe it's a combination of both, or
Maybe she can keep the form for a certain time after taking the necklace off, but can choose not to. Well, I mean, magic.
It's somewhat magic, somewhat. So I'm looking for that.
Did she not have the necklace on when she was showering that time?
She didn't. Carmine was talking about that earlier.
Yeah, she did not have it on. And what one of my commenters said was how when Selyse sees her in the bath, she doesn't see an old woman. She sees a young woman. Maybe because Selyse is so devoted to the Lord of Light that the Lord of Light clouds her vision, and because she's so devoted, and that's probably it. Makes more sense than what we got.
Just regular old deep denial can do that for a person. They
Pretty
see
much.
what they want to see.
Very true, Katie. So it was using some sort of glamour effect in defense of the leaked pictures. Here it is. I found it. So Dorona. Sorry, guys. I am. So I enjoyed this. I enjoyed that scene for the most part. I feel like it definitely gives some more perspective on Melisandre and her glamour powers and that sort of thing. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with that after the fact. What relevance it has. Does she some of that ability somehow to bring back Jon Snow? Does it have anything to do with bringing back Jon Snow? Let's jump to the caller while I look through my notes. Welcome, caller. What's going on?
Hey, sorry, I feel like I've called so many times.
No, don't worry about it.
I love it.
I just wanted to say, well, I've got 2 questions, basically. What do you think about the title of the episode? Like, calling it The Red Woman, I felt like that would have more of an implication, like, like you'd be able to see the Red Woman in the East, in Marine. And I just felt like Melisandre didn't do much for the episode title to be related to the Red Woman. And then, sorry, my second question was mainly just about, at the end in the little teaser for the next episode, you see Cersei kind of battling off with Tommen's men, and what do you think would be happening with Cersei versus Tommen? Sorry.
No,
Love
don't.
the show and everything.
Oh, no, great call.
See, I think what I saw in that last episode, in that last scene, I thought what I was watching was when she took that necklace off. Okay, first off, all the shit she saw, she's definitely not only like handing out the Kool-Aid, she is also a client, right? So I think that when Stannis dies, and then her other vision of I saw Jon fighting at Winterfell, and then she's sitting in front of the fire in that last scene, and she looks very depressed and really thinking hard, and we see her get up and she takes the necklace. She's looking in the mirror now, hard look at herself, and then she takes off the necklace and puts it down next to a vial, which I thought, what's in that vial? And then she takes another, even longer hard look at herself in her old woman form, and then climbs into bed to sleep. And I thought, did she just kill herself?
Oh. Did she give?
Did she give up? Did she say, "I'm done. I was wrong about everything"?
I don't think that that's what they did, Joe. But I see where maybe you're going with there. I think it was just more of a wink and nod to the camera sort of thing to let us know that she has those kind of abilities to kind of bring the glamour magic into the show.
Well, to show us that you haven't seen her do what I've seen her do, that she's obviously magic. She's obviously got some ability, but
someone said in the chat, Najo. Let's take a couple more calls, and then we're going to call it an evening. Welcome to the show, caller. What's going on?
Hello. So I have a question about prophecies, basically. So
prophecies are
whole,
fucking shit.
All mind come true.
Oh, hello.
Hi, you're still there. Yep.
Yeah. In the whole kind of like Game of Thrones series, like there's been prophecies, and there's been prophecies that have been fulfilled, like Maggie the Frog with Cersei's children and what you call it. But there's been prophecies that haven't been fulfilled as well. And basically, I'm saying, with Azor Ahai, do you think that is a prophecy that will be fulfilled, or do you think that is a kind of a figment of the kind of imagination?
Let's go to Carmine for this. What do you think about that, Carmine? Will the Azor Ahai prophecy come true?
In a sense, I mean, the way you look at it, the Azor Ahai prophecy probably is already almost completed. I mean, the Azor Ahai prophecy is how a savior will come, born of salt, smoke, or something like that. Yeah, Dany was reborn at the end of season 1 like that.
Yeah.
So, and Azor Ahai will defeat the others with his sword of fire. I mean, you could rearrange that to where her sword of fire, her weapon of fire, is her dragons. In a sense, they move like her weapon.
Yeah.
She uses it like a weapon.
I like
So,
it.
in
a sense, the prophecy is almost half completed.
You know.
Very good answer, Carmine. Welcome to the show, Heath Hinton.
Hey guys, just a couple of quick questions. I was thinking about the whole Braun deal, and isn't Braun where they gave him lands and that ugly little chick? Isn't that down?
Yeah, wifey.
Landing, so wouldn't they have been? They would have passed it, so maybe they dropped him off.
Good question. They might have dropped him off.
True.
I know Jamie said he was going to try to get him a slightly less ugly girl at some point in time. Stokeworth, I think it was called, something like that, right?
Yeah. Yes, it was Stokeworth. Jamie said, if you come with me, I'll get you a much better bride and a much better castle.
Much better castle. Welcome, S. What's going on, buddy?
My prophecy to me is I've always thought the Azor Ahai and the 3 heads of the dragon were the same prophecy, because I believe that Jon Snow is one of the heads of the dragon along with Dany and Tyrion. And if you really look at it, if Jon Snow gets resurrected right now, he also has just as much claim to that Azor Ahai prophecy as Dany would, like by all the shit that he's done. And like you could and I would argue that Jon Snow might have more control over the dragon that he's supposed to take control of, because I think he's going to warg his dragon and take control of it. I don't think Dany has control of the dragons. I think Tyrion or Jon Snow will get control of them. Tyrion by like being smart enough to train them somehow, and Jon Snow by warging his.
Very good.
Interesting.
Call.
Yeah, she doesn't have control of those dragons. They have a bond with her.
2 of them are locked up.
But yeah, set the dragons free. Bad mom.
Set him free, Terry. I know, Katie. Horrible mom. Welcome to the show, caller. A couple more calls. What's going on, buddy?
Hi, it's Carson again. I was wondering if you thought anything about the fact that both Thoros and Melisandre lost faith in the Red God might be the prerequisite to being able to resurrect people.
Very. And I think that is a good parallel. At least, if anything, at least if it's nothing, at least it's an interesting parallel that they set up there. Melisandre's starting to doubt herself to a certain extent, but it's going to be interesting to get inside Melisandre's head a little bit in the next episode, especially after what we have seen and see her explore her thoughts a little bit more. Welcome, Kale. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, I just got a few quick questions. So you all agree that this is definitely one of the best shows on television, right?
Yeah, personally, I feel that way.
All right. Well, I'm glad we can agree that Fear the Walking Dead is one of the greatest shows ever, but I'm just a little bit...
Whoa!
Let's calm down there.
Hey, wait, whoa.
It sounds way different from the episode I watched.
What are you talking about? Are you talking about Baywatch with zombies? What's going on here? Do you know what I gotta say to that? I
heard you say White Walkers a few times. I mean, there's walkers in the show, but all this like.
Shut the fuck up, Casey. We're blowing KLC up right now. Shut the fuck up, KLC.
the fuck up, Joe?
I mean KLC. Welcome to the show, caller. What's going on? Great call.
I didn't say anything.
So on that note about Jon and Tyrion and them being able to control their dragons, what that brought to mind was, and this is something that I read a lot in the gap between seasons, but people start talking about how Daenerys may end up getting the whole Targaryen thing of going crazy, and I'm wondering, as she sees Jon and Tyrion take control of their own dragons and being in charge of that power, and she can barely get hers to do what she wants, is that what finally makes her snap, and then she goes off and starts setting fire to everything?
Yeah,
very-
that's a very good question. That's an interesting point. I
Good
like it.
point. So I
Yeah.
guess this is a good point. Great to take all of your calls tonight. Any final thoughts, Carmine? You have any final thoughts on this episode? I know your video is coming out later in the week, so you want to save some stuff for that video. But any
No,
final
I'll say it now. I thought the episode was pretty good. It was pretty much just a setup episode. We didn't really get a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it was really short. I honestly wish they would stop bullshitting us and give us a first episode that's at least 1 hour and 30 minutes to set up everything.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you, and I feel like so many shows, even on regular television, whether it be FX or something like that, are so much that they'll give you those hour-and-a-half episodes. But Game of Thrones, why can't you
But
give
it's
us...
almost always a finale episode too. They never do it on it's almost never like the first episode will be.
Yeah.
Like I think Sons of Anarchy has, but
yeah,
for the most part, none of them do it that way. Special 1.5 hour premiere, 2 hour premiere.
Yeah.
Occasionally, but it's always the end.
So, anything else you guys want to hit up on this episode before we call it an evening? No, I think that's
I loved it. I loved it. I want more. I don't want to wait another week. I can't believe there's only 9 episodes left. It's fucking bullshit.
Screwed up.
Yeah, as Miss in the chat says, guys, they only have 13 hours left, so just be quiet. Oh my goodness, everyone in the chat.
There's 13 more episodes after this season, right?
Yes. What is it? 31 more episodes.
No. They have 13 more episodes after season 6.
Right.
And what they could do is stop killing off people and give them more shit to do, or they could give us a 4-hour movie to end season 8.
That wouldn't be bad, as long as they showed on HBO first. Having actually been one that, I don't know if you got a chance, Carmine, to see it in the theater when they showed the last.
No, fuck that. I don't. I like Game of Thrones. I like watching Game of Thrones alone in a dark room. No one can bother.
No one else around. But everybody, we'd like to say a huge thank you to you, Carmine, for joining us.
Yes,
of course.
Thank you.
Thank you to have, and make sure everyone, if you haven't already, to please subscribe to Red Team Review and check out Carmine.
No, stop it! Don't do that.
Please, no, I know you don't.
No. Do it.
But please
We
subscribe.
heart Carmine.
Carmine will be joining us a couple of times throughout the season as his availability happens, but he'll be jumping in here and there throughout the season and always coming around to say hello. So huge thank you to Carmine for joining us tonight. Cannot say enough thanks to him for all the support he's given our channel, as we're very small. Someone like him, his channel, and Devin as well. I know a couple of you guys came from Devin's channel tonight too. Huge thank you to everybody that's helped us. Tony as well, that helps promote the channel. It's really been a huge, really awesome to have you guys. I know still over 500 people in the chat right now, so huge thank you to everybody. If you haven't already, please like this video. Please hit the subscribe button. Thank you to everyone in our chat, all our friends. I'm sorry if I didn't get a chance to get to your comment or your point in the chat. If you have a specific question you want us to ask, we'll be doing a midweek Q&A kind of video where we'll get to some of the questions. You can email me at igetissuesman@gmail.com. You can leave a voicemail, 781-990-8509, or just leave a comment in this video whenever you're watching it, and I will make sure I try to get to those comments. We'll probably take, probably go on for like an hour and take like an hour worth of questions or something like that, and I'm going to probably do that this week with Joe and Katie, and then some other weeks try to bring you guys some other Game of Thrones YouTube people or some of my other friends that are fans of Game of Thrones to answer some of those questions. So huge thanks, Carmine. Again, thank you for joining us this week, buddy. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, man.
Make sure you check out Carmine's review this week. And everybody, have a good night. We will talk to you next time.
Thank you,
Nighty
everybody.
night.
Peace.
Love.
Peace, love, and happiness. Good night. Lots of hippie stuff going. Have a good night, everybody. Game of Thrones is fucking back. Yes!
It's a stolen horse is real.
Huge thank you. Thank you, Keisha. Thank you, Ivy. Thank you, Vlad. Thank you, Evan. Thank you, Steven. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Timo. Thank you, other Sam. Thank you, Miss Louise. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Tebow. Oh, yeah. I love being able to play this song. Honestly, it's just I'm playing my own music that I've recorded, so I don't have to pay copyright stuff, so it's easy just to play my own music, but I appreciate that you guys like it. Thank you. Bye, KLC, Craft Mama, all of my friends. Make sure you join the Friends of Phil group on Google Communities and join the Discord chat server to keep the discussion going. Huge thank you to everyone that joined us tonight.